California on Fox Sports Net 2. As they are set to line things up. The head coach for Florida, Jim Sauls from Leon High School in Tallahassee, just retired after 10 years as the head coach and more than 20 years at the school. Across the way, the California head coach will actually be handling the California defense today. John Mack from St. Bonaventure says he has no idea what his overall record is in the past 10 years. He just straps it on and plays football every Friday night. Well, while most of these guys already signed and delivered to colleges and have proven themselves over 4 years at the prep level, there's one guy in the field today that is still trying to prove himself. Mike Lamb, down on the sideline, has more on that.
Well, I think the plot of this game is you want to see how high school players transition to play against college guys. And a guy who really has a subplot here is Tyler Ebell. He is a running back that ran for 64 touchdowns, almost 4,500 yards this year, California State Player of the Year. But he's not the biggest guy in the world. And the rap on him has been he got his yards against inferior opponents. In fact, there was something in the paper today. I saw Tyler in the dorm reading the paper, the quotes from the Florida players saying he wasn't the guy. I asked him how he felt about that, and he said, hey, I'm the kind of guy that likes a challenge. I want to play with it. Bring those Florida guys out here. And then he looked back to me and he just said, tell them to bring it. So look for a big game from Tyler Ebell.
They're about to bring it. Tyler Ebell, huge numbers in high school, a national record his senior year rushing on the ground. And Mike mentioned those 64 touchdowns. And Tyler Ebell may be the first guy to touch the football today. He's back there and stands just 5'9", 160 pounds. And next to him is Matt Clark, who's also going to UCLA with Tyler Ebell, who's also 5'9" and only 185 pounds. So they stand and wait the kick of Ryan Rankin. Rankin from Riverview High School in Sarasota, on his way to Florida Atlantic, and one last high school game to play. He puts his foot into it, and California Bowl 2 is underway. This ball squirts away and is picked up by Matt Clark. Clark along the near sideline makes a couple of moves. It's banged, he crosses the 23-yard line. That is where California will start, 16 yards on the return. The quarterback for California starting things off, David Corral. You see 65% completion. That's the system he played in, 4,907 yards. He set a national record with 764 yards in one game last fall. One game, 764 yards. He ranks third nationally all-time for passing yards in one season with those 49.07. Big numbers, 44 touchdowns and just 12 picks in a system which the ball was in the air all night long. So California comes to the line. Defenses have to play a 4-3, and we expect to see the ball in the air all day. 4 receivers and one guy behind. It's Ebell, they fake to him. Corral rolls and throws short as a man. First down for California. It's Greg Carlson, who was Corral's teammate at Palisades High. Carlson on his way to USC, 15 yards. Here's your offensive line for California. Blanton, Grayling Love will play both ways. Sean Finnerty, Keith Ornelas played at Loyola High School. We know about him. And Mark Fenton, very good, very big up front. Tyler Ebell we talked about, Matt Clark as well. Charles Ely could be a surprise today. Demetrius Williams played at De La Salle High School. That's the school up in the Bay Area with 113 consecutive victories. They haven't lost since '92. And Terrence Whitehead also on the field. California with a lot of guys who can fly, can stretch a defense. Corral this time on the ground. Ebell. Short gain out to about the 47-yard line for Tyler Ebell. Defensively for Florida, Ovens, St. Preux, Casey Carroll, Damian Hay, and Cephas Johnson. All very fast up front, just like you'd expect from Florida. The linebackers, Dunham, Poston, and Oris Lambert. And in the secondary, Jamal Fudge, Al Peterson, Kyler Hall is probably the best guy back there at strong safety, and Sean Taylor. So, JJ, you might expect that Florida would keep Corral in front of them right now, and that's the kind of game that Corral likes to play. There's that short drop, nothing there, so he steps into the middle. Cross midfield and squirts his way down to the 46-yard line. That should be enough for another California first down.
Well, Jim, the interesting thing about David Corral is that he is playing in his own system. As you mentioned, he's from Pacific Palisades. This offense is his offense. So in an all-star game with only a week of practice, very tough to get familiar with the offense and the schemes. But the one benefit for the California team is Dave Corral has played in this system.
This drive started back inside their own 25-yard line. They've moved across midfield. Opening drive of California Bowl 2. Best from California, the best from Florida. High school football players for one last day. It is a first down. Hand off to Ebell. Ebell down to about the 43. Tyler Ebell admittedly was a little bit discouraged when he first got the call for this game because he expected a lot of passing and didn't expect to see the ball too much. Here's some of the rules. Offense is the same as always. Defensively, as I mentioned, you got to run a 4-3. You can't blitz or stunt, but in the red zone, you can bring 7 people. You just got to bring them inside. And of course, JJ, all of this is to encourage offense and make it more entertaining for the folks.
Right, and you don't want to have an all-star football game that you don't have any points scored on the board. So now, as an offensive coordinator, you know what the defense is going to be, and they're going to be in that 4-3 defense. They're going to be in a 3-deep zone, so you know how to attack them. It's just a matter of execution. Of course, that is a tough factor when you only have a week's worth of practice.
Trips left, and then Philip Goodman at the bottom of the screen. They fake to Ebell. Corral rolls left. Wanted his primary guy, wasn't there, so he spins inside the 40 down to the 39-yard line. Florida doing a good job so far covering California deep on the corners.
Yeah, Florida has great speed in their secondary as well as California, and they are doing a good job. That really was a great job of coverage down the field, but Corral making 2 excellent decisions so far in this drive, able to pull the ball down. That time he picks up about 7 yards, so he's keeping his offense in very short yardage situations, so that is a very good job by David Corral.
Like Willie Jones there for Florida on the stop. Brings up a 3rd down and 3. Have to get to about the 36-yard line to move the sticks again from the shotgun. Little shovel inside, and Florida reads it out. Well, that's a play that really came to prominence in Florida, and you figure these guys know how to stop it.
They definitely had the scouting report out on that play, Jim. They tried to pitch it to Terrence Whitehead, throwing a little misdirection on the Florida defense, but this defensive front for Florida is very, very good. You can see the penetration up the field, able to shut down all the running lanes. Terrence Whitehead really had no chance.
Chauncey Davis from Auburndale on his way to Florida State with the stop. It's 4th down and 7 now for California, so Brian New will come in and kick it away. Puts his foot into it about the 47-yard line. And wisely kicking it away from the dangerous Florida players. They have so much talent. Sean Taylor is back there, and he has returned a couple of punts this season, 4 touchdowns.
Ball boy!
Now we talked about Adrian McPherson. They call him AD. That's what he calls himself. Again, good completion percentage rate, 3,724. We told you at the top of the show, not only the 42 touchdowns through the air, but 52 total touchdowns and 4,400 yards total offense in his senior year. This guy is special. He's going to Florida State. They know all about him down there.
Yeah, and the coaches couldn't have enough to say about him. AD, just a tremendous athlete. He's going to follow sort of in the footsteps of the Charlie Ward. Charlie Ward, a great Heisman Trophy winner at Florida State, and also now an NBA basketball player. A.D. McPherson has those 2 sport skills.
He likes to get outside the tackles and throw, very active, and California was concerned about just this, letting him run. He tucks it away and goes back out of bounds at the 20-yard line. A lot of running in a short game. Take a look at the rest of Florida. Offensive line up front. Matt Hines is very good. Cesar Paz in the middle. Vernon Edwards, John Wilson, and Fred Nolan. Backs and receivers, Mike Gilliam starts in the backfield. The 4 guys out on the flats: Ellis, Crow Thorpe, Jaworski Pollock, and Chris Gamble. And Jim Sauls, the Florida head coach, we were asking about all this speed, all this talent on the outside, and he said, hey, I'm more concerned with the offensive line because it doesn't matter how good your aircraft carrier is, you can't get the jets off the deck. Short pass turned back inside. Charles Frederick from Pope John Paul High School in Boca Raton. Defensively for California, again, it's a 4-3. Bernard Fano from Fountain Valley High School is big and has been awesome in practice this week. Randall Bowen, Graylin Love, again, should get tired. He's playing both ways. And Mike Benelli. Dan Catalano, his brother was a great receiver in high school in this area. He's a linebacker. Dominic Robinson and Matt Ware, we talked about. Jabril Ramo is also very good. Doesn't get as much pub as he should. Florida going deep and got a man, Frederick. And it went just off the fingertips. Might have been tipped as California responded late. But a good arm by McPherson. He threw that ball about 50 yards.
Yeah, McPherson shows you his ability, what he can do. This is a half roll, Jim. It's designed to get him out of the pocket, relieve some of the defensive pressure up front. And Jim, he puts this ball in the air about 60 yards in the air. I don't even think the receiver thought he could throw it that far. See Dominic Robinson in coverage, actually trips and falls, but Matt Ware in a 3-deep coverage. Of course, you know they'll be in 3-deep coverage all day. Able to get there and make sure that that was not a completion.
It's a 2nd down and 10. McPherson rolls to his right, goes to the short man.
McPherson's pass is complete.
Jaworski Pollock Went to Southeast High School in Bradenton, and that's the same high school as the head coach of the Florida team, Jim Sauls. In fact, Jim Sauls talked about this young man and how tough he was in their system going across the middle. We watched McPherson play in the early minutes, JJ. We've heard all about him. We've read about him. First chance we've gotten to see. What's your early impressions?
Well, I mean, he's done everything that you would expect from a tremendous athlete. He's able to half roll. He's able to drop back. He has a very strong arm. So A.D. McPherson, they told us that this kid is going to be just rewrite the record books as far as high school goes and at the college level, and he's making a good start so far.
Three guys in the backfield. They give DeMarcus Jones. He's on his way to Rutgers. Jones pops it outside after an initial hit. It was third down and about 1.5, and he looks to have enough.
And Jim, the message from the offensive coaches for the Florida team said that they were going to put the ball in the air 80% of the time today. That is the first rush from scrimmage, aside from a scramble from A.D. McPherson. So they are true to form. They're going to throw the ball all night long.
Florida said what, about 80%? They told us the other day in some meetings. Jim Sauls said, you know what, it's an all-star game. We want to entertain people, and look at the athletes I have at my fingertips. Jim Sauls retiring from Southeastern High School. From the shotgun, Pearson. Everybody was covered, so he steps and spins. It's about the 46-yard line, so it's going to be second down, about 7 yards. Let's go down to Mike Lamb on the sideline.
Jim, you guys have talked about the athletic ability of Adrian McPherson, and it's usually in these all-star games the more athletic quarterback. In fact, the California camp wanted to work Matt Ware out more during the week at quarterback than they did on defense. And if they get into trouble in this game, you could see Matt Ware coming out to work some at quarterback.
And we talked about that a couple times during the week, you know, and he's going to UCLA. We're talking about Matt Ware, and he was a tremendous high school quarterback, but UCLA wants to use him in the secondary. Pass out in the flat, that's a first down for Florida. It's by Gilliam, Lincoln High in Tallahassee. Lincoln High, one of those strong programs in Florida.
Jim, you see the patience in the offense so far by McPherson. This is another attribute that makes him so special. He's not going to make mistakes. He's very heady in the pocket, and he makes sure that he does not turn the ball over. That time he was looking downfield, nobody open, so just drop it off to your safety valve. And as you mentioned, all the great athletes, the safety valve picked up 10 yards on that, on just a screen play.
That was to Gilliam. Gilliam led Lincoln to a 13-1 mark his senior year. McPherson steps up just short of the line of scrimmage, goes to Jones in the flat. Jones is shoved out of bounds. But not until he gets inside the 35 to the 34-yard line. So McPherson is buying time, JJ, but they talked about his decision-making. Sure, he's a great athlete. He can do anything, but he doesn't make mistakes.
Yeah, watch his head. See how he's looking down the field, look for your initial target, but then when he doesn't have anything, he goes to his outlets in the flat. And remember, 3D coverage by these teams, those flats in both sides of the field, the strong and the weak side, will be open. It's just a quarterback that has the patience to take advantage of it. So far, McPherson is doing it.
That was Larry Jones from Leon High School, Tallahassee, that made the catch. McPherson this time nowhere to go. California with some great pressure right up the middle. The guy that got there first was Michael Craven. Michael Craven from La Quinta High School out in Palm Springs, and he's going to Stanford to play Pac-10 football.
Yeah, and that's going to be the challenge for the defensive front, or the front seven for the California defense. They need to get pressure on McPherson, and then when he gets out of the pocket, you're going to have linebackers like Craven able to penetrate at the proper angles, because you cannot over-pursue him. He will break long runs from the pocket, so Craven does a nice job coming from his middle linebacker position that time to make the play behind the line of scrimmage.
And behind guys like Craven, they have Dominic Robinson and Matt Ware, so you know those backers can get upfield because they have the confidence. Two of the best athletes in the state of California right behind them. Trips left now for Florida on a second down and 14. McPherson, this is a run all the way. Tries to juke, McPherson wrapped up and dropped. Now Jabril Ramo, and talked about him at the top, JJ from Beverly Hills High School. Everybody talks about Dominic Robinson and Matt Ware, but this guy, Jabril Ramo, and I talked about it last night with you guys at the hotel. I said this guy was going to have a great game today.
Yeah, probably one of the most underrated secondary players on this California team because, as you mentioned, Dominic Robinson and Matt Ware. Ramo from Beverly Hills High School will go to UCLA next year. That time, a great job pursuing from the secondary. That was a design draw. Ramo able to sniff it out and come up and make a play.
You said it, he's going to UCLA, which means he'll team with Matt Ware. They could be together just like they are right now.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough secondary.
Third down and 17 from the 41-yard line for Florida. McPherson right at the midfield stripe. Lobs one up down the sideline, got a man. It got there late. Is the ball intercepted? Dominic Robinson says he picked it off. The officials agree.
Jim, you are going to see on this play why Dominic Robinson calls himself prime time and why everybody else in California.
He closed, JJ. He closed, just like that.
It was closing speed. Typical Deion Sanders. Dominic Robinson is beat on this pass. McPherson throws the ball. He actually throws a good ball, but the closing speed from McPherson, you can't even recognize it from that angle. He comes up, not only gets there, but makes a play, and that is what Dominic Robinson has done all year, and that's why he was one of the most highly regarded defensive backs in California. Florida State thought so much of him. They came out 3,000 miles to come recruit this kid. He will go to Florida State next year and follow after his idol, Deion Sanders, for making plays like that.
Yeah, and our producer, Micah King, asked him this week, why are you going all the way to Florida State? And he said, because I'm prime time too. Here's Matt Leinart from Mater Dei, who stepped in at quarterback. We expected this. The California coaches told us that they would rotate the quarterbacks. Matt Leinart, the big lefty from Mater Dei. He will go to USC, just under 3,000 yards. And again, great completion percentage. And JJ, you know, we cover a lot of high school football. I'm always impressed by the yards, but it's that completion percentage that I like to look at.
Yeah, and Matt Leinart makes great decisions, Jimmy. Does not turn the ball over. Very strong arm. He'll go to USC next year. And in that Mater Dei offense that we had a chance to see, he orchestrated that offense perfectly. Makes good decisions. We'll see if he can get this wide open offensive attack started today.
Well, folks in Florida probably have heard of Mater Dei High School in Santa Ana down in Orange County in the Southern California area. The great program they have. Leinart throws, has a man. It's Greg Carlson. Carlson's got a couple of catches already. Check it, it's Willie Buchanan, 31, not 3. Willie Buchanan from Oceanside High School. Actually, he told us, don't call me Willie, that was my dad. It's William Buchanan. So it's William Buchanan. We want to make sure we get it right. William Buchanan going to USC, so Leinart to Buchanan is something that may be said for the next couple of years. Yeah, his dad was the guy who played for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Super Bowl in 1969.
The Vikings. It's a first down for California. No score yet, but both teams have moved the ball up and down the field. Leinart hands it off to the first guy through, the only guy actually in the backfield. It's Dorsey. Dominic Dorsey to Larry. Going to UNLV, and that means, JJ, that he'll work for your dad. He'll play for John Jackson Sr. at UNLV. Your dad's the offensive coordinator for John Robinson.
And I got to tell you, Dominic, you're going to have your hands full dealing with John Jackson Sr. Yeah, my dad is assistant head coach at UNLV. They're very pleased with their recruiting class this year. They picked up Dominic Dorsey and, of course, Irvin Johnson, who we have not had a chance to see yet today, but he is a special receiver. So they're very pleased they were able to get two of the best players in California to UNLV.
Smith, Buchanan, and Clark are the guys in the pattern. Leinart throws out in the flat. That's Smith, who came back to get it. Leinart to a nice softball, let the receiver come back. Now, you played receiver at USC and in the NFL. Why is that important for a quarterback to throw that kind of ball?
Well, it's really a timing pass, Jim. It's not always important to just show off your arm and your arm strength on every pass. The ball's in the air right before he makes the break, and as you see, it comes back to the ball, leads it back to the sideline. Just a nice, safe throw by Matt Leinart. That is just a heads-up decision. If he needed to put more on that ball, he would have, but he recognized in 3D coverage he had a receiver open. Just pitch and catch, first down.
California again moving the ball out near midfield. Their first possession, they went into Florida territory. Throw it out in the flat. Dominic Dorsey made the catch and then was put down right away. Juwan Brown, Glade Central, Bell Glade. And that's always a good tackle when you catch a receiver in the backfield. That means you're closing quickly.
Yeah, because Dominic Dorsey has great moves, and for Brown to come up and make that tackle in the open field, that is huge. And that's the type of plays that California made on their defensive stand, and Florida needs to make now, because you're going to have a lot of talented athletes in open space with the way that the rules are designed in this game. So tackling is of utmost importance.
So the ball at the 46, it's second down and 10. Leinart and Dorsey in the backfield. Leinart again looks to that left side. He's a left-handed guy, likes to go that way. Has his man. It's Carlson. Carlson inside the 30, the longest play of the game so far.
Yeah, Matt Leinart dropped this right in between the zone coverage. They're going to flood the zone on the left side. They're going to have an out pattern and a corner route. So Leinart looks to the out pattern, then throws to the corner route, able to find the receiver in the seam. That's just a nice ball, great touch.
Touch pass by Matt Leinart. Nice softball again into the hands of Greg Carlson from Pacific Palisades High. Played with David Corral, but he caught that ball from Leinart. Carlson will go to USC with Leinart, but Carlson is going as a walk-on. He says, that's where I want to play, and I'll earn my ticket. First down, 25 yards on the catch. Inside the 30 now for California. No score. Dorsey grabbed by the ankle and stretches forward for a yard or two. The guy who had him was Andre Hostin from Hillsborough High School in Tampa. He's going to Central Florida.
Yeah, Jim, we talked to both coaches before the game and talked about the offensive game plans. Both coaches are committed to throwing the ball, but I think the one ingredient that can help both teams today is the ability to run the ball. Both teams huge up front. California's offensive line, 6'5", 296. That's the average, not one person. And then for Florida, you have 6'4", 291. So they're very big. Both teams very big up front. We'll see if either coach decides to be a little bit more patient and run the ball.
It's Whitehead in motion. They hand it to him. Cuts back, hit, stood up, dropped. Terrence Whitehead from Crenshaw High School. Of course, Crenshaw High School has made its name in high school basketball, but some great athletes. Of course, Darryl Strawberry came off that campus. And Whitehead is going to Oregon.
Yeah, very highly recruited Terrence Whitehead out of Crenshaw. He almost led them to the city championship this year.
Well, Whitehead surprisingly will play defensive back in college. And the coaches have told us that you might want to keep an eye on 24 because if they run a trick play, that's the guy who could throw the ball. So just a great athlete. It's a third down and 6 now for California. They split their receivers, 2 on either side. Tyler Ebell in the backfield. This would be a good play for Ebell right here. Spread everybody out, give it to him right up the gut. They ignore Ebell. Leinart going to the corner, laying one out. A little bumping, and now neither player had a shot at that football. Leinart had to get rid of it under pressure. Leinart originally looked to his right side. The primary guy was covered, checked off, went to the second guy, and just threw it out of bounds. Didn't want to make a mistake.
Yeah, there was really nothing there for Matt Leinart, so he decides that since they're in field goal range, throw that ball away. Give your field goal kicker a chance.
And his field goal kicker today is the same guy who kicked for Mater Dei this year, and Matt Leinart. Talking about Brian New.
One interesting thing about the field goals today, Jim, the goalposts are NFL regulation goalposts, so they're not as wide as in high school or college, so a little bit of a challenge in the All-Star game for the kickers.
It's a 43-yard attempt. And Carlson on the hole. New gets his foot into it, that ball is blocked. Picked up by Carlson, but Florida's gonna get it back. And our first big defensive play of the game, David Dunham from Columbia High School in Lake City, going to Clemson. He got through it quickly and absolutely smothered Brian New's kick. Dunham right up the gut and keeps this game scoreless. It's California Bowl 2. No chance for Brian New. He smothers that one. John Mack, the California coach, says, who had him? Came right up the middle.
The last thing you want is pressure up the middle. David Dunham, though, first team All-State in Florida. That was just an outstanding individual effort, Jim. For him to lay out right in front of the kick, that takes a lot more than just, it's a lot harder than it looks. Great play by Dunham.
McPherson rolls to his right, throws back to the left side, has a man open. It's Larry Jones. Larry Jones inside the 35-yard line. Now, I think McPherson baited California a little bit. They rolled to that right side, let the pressure come, and he threw back in the flat.
Yeah, that's a great job by the offensive coordinator for Florida. In the first drive, McPherson constantly rolled, and threw to the side he was rolling to. That time, he rolls to the right, a design screen, comes back to the left. Remember, Jim, this is an all-star football game. Both teams are fired up to play in this one. You take advantage of the aggression by throwing this direction, and of course, screens to the backside. That was a nice play by McPherson and a great run by Jones.
And Jones is from Leon High School. His coach, Jim Sauls, is the Florida head coach today, and I'm sure they ran that play a couple of times. First down at the 32-yard line, movement by California, no whistle. McPherson, good protection this time. Now it starts to break down, and now he's put down.
Good, nice pressure in the backfield. That front four for California able to apply the pressure to McPherson. And this is what you have to do with a quarterback with this much mobility and agility. You have to hem him in the pocket and just let things squeeze down on him. A nice play by
Robbie Valenzuela.
Valenzuela going to Oregon, so Valenzuela makes his first sack of the game.
Grace Davis, that's up in the Modesto area. Valenzuela, 117 tackles and 9 sacks during his senior season. There was another guy, JJ, that was in on that. That was Joe Toledo, who's coming from the other side. He's listed as a tight end today. Handoff as Florida wants to keep it on the ground now and get back some of those yards. A little bit after the play. Gilliam on the run. Let's get out of Mike Lamb on the sideline. Mike, it's getting a little chippy.
Yeah, that's something that you expected. You saw these teams all week long. Hey, an interesting story. Right guard John Wilson was on vacation in France with his girlfriend and her family. Got a phone call last Saturday night and said, hey, I need an offensive lineman. He gets on the plane, flies 10 hours from Europe to Florida, gets home Saturday night, gets on the Florida plane the next morning and flies out here. And you know where he's going to school? Air Force, and he's going to be getting used to being on those planes. Back up to you, Jim.
Well, the coach has told us that he's a smart kid, he's a great kid, but you know, the most amazing part of that story is he got his girlfriend's parents to pay for him to go to Europe. He must be brilliant. I'm saving box tops at the house. From the 38-yard line, 3rd down and long, McPherson rolls to the right, throws underneath. He has a completion, but short of the 1st down. Jaworski Pollock, Southeast High School in Bradenton.
Yeah, McPherson.
Same high school as McPherson. They played together.
Right, they hook up right here, and McPherson does a nice job rolling. Look at Pollock, he works away from the zone. That's a great job by the receiver, great awareness, and that was just a strike by McPherson. So that puts them in a 4th and short situation. Jim, that is just a heads-up play by McPherson. He doesn't go down the field trying to get the 1st down, trying to force something. Take what the defense gives you, put your team in a 4th and short situation, and try to pick up the 1st down.
Jaworski Pollock will go to North Carolina. Timeout on the field. It'll be 4th down and short. Florida with the timeout. 1:50 to play in the 1st quarter of Cali Florida Bowl 2. Done a good job stopping it. One of those guys, Matt Ware, one of the best athletes in California, will play at UCLA. We talked to them about taking part in Cali Florida Bowl 2.
It's an awesome honor to be selected to play in this game. We're going to be playing against one of the best teams in the United States put together, and I'm just overjoyed and I'm ready to play.
Matt Ware, of course, will play defensive back at UCLA. He was a great quarterback in high school. He's also drafted by the Seattle Mariners in the 21st round, and he didn't even play baseball his senior year. They just knew he was a great athlete.
Yeah, some kids can just do anything they want to do, Jay.
It is 4th down and about 2 yards. Florida goes, they go on the ground, and they get the 1st down. Lonnie all the way down to the 16-yard line. It gives some credit to the big guys up front, just blowing it out. And look at them celebrating, JJ. Those Florida guys up front. Fred Nolan is the guy signaling 1st down. Just blew California off the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Jim, watch the surge and the hole opened by this Florida front. We talked about the size, 6'4", 291. So they are huge up front. And then if you need short yardage, they go right over Hines, Nolan, and Paz on that left side to pick up that 1st down.
New set of downs for the Florida All-Stars. No score. 1:32 to play in the 1st quarter. Ball at the 16-yard line of California. Sends Jones in motion to the right. Now they throw to Jones out in the flat. Here comes California. Good reaction again by the California All-Stars. They read it out.
It looked like it was Ramo coming in, the first one to penetrate the backfield on that screen.
Jabril Ramo again, JJ?
Yeah, just a quick screen, and once again, Florida trying to get the ball to the great athletes in the open field. That time, Ramo comes up, corrals them, and then, of course, the team speed in the pursuit for the California defense able to get there and shut them down. Now, remember, Jim, the rules change inside the red zone. So right now, they're at the 22-yard line. Once they go inside that 20-yard line, the rules change as far as defensive scheme.
They fake to Jones out the flat, in and out of the hands of Dominic Robinson. Robinson had the pick.
So, a break for California and a break for Florida all in one play.
Second down and 17 now. 3rd down, excuse me, the scoreboard's incorrect. The down marker says 3rd down. McPherson pump fakes. And he couldn't get around the corner. He's a great athlete, but wrapped up by Josh Martin of Silmar, who will play at the Naval Academy.
Yeah, Josh Martin had a great season when he was at Silmar, 126 tackles. That time McPherson gets out of the pocket once again, able to elude the initial rush, and the pump fake does not fool Josh Martin. And you know, when you're trying to defend McPherson, you have a choice. If you're going to try to defend the pass and get your hands up, or you try to make the tackle. That time Josh Martin goes for the tackle, able to bring McPherson down and bring up this 4th and long situation.
Josh Martin, you mentioned 126 tackles, 24 of those for loss, playing for Silmar. It looks like Florida was lining up for a field goal, but the clock runs out before we'll get to it. So Ryan Rankin had about a 42 up to attempt a 43-yard kick. Our first points of the day. I talked with Ryan right before the game. You know, the wind is blowing the other direction. He said he would rather kick the other way, but Florida let the clock run out. So now he's kicking into the wind. 43-yarder, and that ball is blocked, taken out of the air by California. So both kicks from the exact same spot and the same result, blocked.
Well, Jim, as expected in an All-Star game, there's only a week to practice, and one thing that doesn't get as much attention is the special teams, and it's hurt both teams so far. Right off the edge, Marcus Castle able to turn the corner and block this kick by Rankin. Snap good, the hold good, and actually the timing good. But if you go unblocked from that edge, Marcus able to come in, Castle able to come in and make that block a great play.
To complete the point, JJ, because he's kicking into the wind, Rankin has to keep that ball lower, and that makes it an easier block. If they kick it at the other end with the wind, he can just chip it up into the jet stream and let it float between the uprights. So they come up empty. You see the total yards, California with a slight advantage, and about what we expected in the first quarter. We expect the defenses to dominate a little bit early. David Corral back at quarterback for California, throws to Carlson, who catches and pitches to Tyler Ebell. California, for first time today, goes into the playbook and a flag afterwards as everybody pushing and shoving and a lot of talking. Wakes up the crowd, wakes up both benches. It's Corral to Carlson and then to Ebell, and you want to get this ball to Tyler Ebell anytime you can in the open field, and that's just what they do.
Yeah, just a little imagination with the pitch to Ebell. Now watch Ebell, remember he's only 5'8", and look at the punishment he lays on the defender.
And he didn't go down, JJ stayed up.
He didn't. The hook and ladder to Ebell. He has great speed, and he's known for this great speed and quickness, but you see he drops the shoulder. Tyler Ebell, tired of being called small, 5'9", 160, but you see him just lower the shoulder that time to get great leverage. A nice play, a nice imagination by the California offense.
Kyler Hall and DeJuan Brown are the guys that sandwiched Ebell. They both went down, and now they call Tyler Ebell Mighty Mouse because on his bicep he's got a tattoo of Mighty Mouse. Ironically, the Mighty Mouse tattoo is holding a basketball. He said he got it when he was 14. He thought he was going to be a basketball player. The referees are going to talk about this when it was all after the play. There are 3 flags laying out on the field at about the 45-yard line.
And Jim, I tell you, the trash talking between these two teams has gone on the entire game. And, you know, tempers are going to flare. Remember, there's a lot of pride behind this game. Florida coming in, they felt like they did not send their best team to California last year to represent the state. Of course, this team is loaded with talent. So for that reason, they have a quote-unquote chip on their shoulder. And California, of course, trying to defend their one Cal-Florida win. So there's a lot of tension between these two teams, and it's been going on throughout the game. This is the first penalty, though, that's been called.
Yeah, they're high schoolers, but they know about the rivalry, the bi-coastal thing, Florida and California. Joe Conti is our referee. So apparently everybody's satisfied now. They'll let us know exactly what they've decided. Joe Conti now going to run from the California sideline over to the Florida sideline. Frank Viller, Larry Martinez, Tom Hutron, Dan Novak, Dan Ramirez, and John Arona. Those are your officials for today's game. And Conti is talking with Sauls. Now, in the meantime, it gives us a chance. Pass along this reminder that you can get your auto racing fix tomorrow all across the Fox networks as NASCAR moves to Sears Point here on Fox Sports Net at 7 in the morning. That's early, JJ. It's NASCAR this morning, followed by the Dodge 350. That's over on Fox at noon. And finally, switch back over to get a complete wrap-up of the racing day with NASCAR Victory Lane at 9 o'clock. It's all on the Fox networks, your home for NASCAR. That's 7 a.m., JJ. Get up, turn the engine over.
Jim, I will be up 7 o'clock in the morning.
I'll tell you what, growing up like most people in California, I didn't understand NASCAR as a kid. I made fun of it, but now I'm hooked. I tell you what, it's great. It's great coverage. You're right in the cockpit. The cars are loud, and they bang doors, but that ain't rubbing, that's racing, JJ.
Unbelievable graphics, too, when they do show those NASCAR races.
It's a good time. Well, the ball has moved out near the 50-yard line. So the penalty went against Florida. Again, it actually was offsetting penalties.
Right, that's
so the ball ends up at the 50. Yeah, I guess you got to make it that way now, don't you? This early in the game. So first down at the 50 for Corral. Corral steps up, pressure coming. And Corral is hammered. Like Willie Jones, the linebacker, stepping through. Willie Jones, Carroll City.
Yeah, now Willie Jones is something special though, Jim. The Super Prep Magazine Defensive Player of the Year. Now, he's had a knee injury earlier in the week. They were questionable whether he was even going to be able to play in this game. But the coach from Florida say that they need him. He is that kind of player, which is unbelievable coming off the corner. Willie Jones makes a nice play. Another Florida player headed to Florida State.
They keep him home, that's the key. Used to happen out here, remember, JJ? Well, Matt Leinert's staying home. He's going to USC. He throws his ball in the flat. He's got Ely. Charles Ely from Palisades High. Go to Fresno State. He's playing in the same system he played in high school, so he knows where to go. And 73 catches. Averaging about 18 yards a catch, 1,300 yards, and 16 touchdowns on the year.
Now, Jim, watch. This is a phenomenal throw by Leinart with a player in his face, getting ready to drill him in the chest. You see right there, he's able to throw that ball and deliver a strike to Ely. A lot of times you see the passes, you don't understand what the quarterback goes through. That time, Matt Leinart recognized and knew he was going to get hit. Able to stand strong in the pocket, make that throw.
And Leinart in just for the one play, and he goes back out, and Corral is back in. The coaches told us they would rotate series, but for some reason, Leinart came in for one, maybe just to throw that ball. Here's Corral. Flat, incomplete. He was trying to go to Dominic Robinson, who's listed as a D-back, but of course, great athlete, put him on offense.
Right, you know, you talked about the quarterbacks with Corral. I think that this is Corral's series. Remember the California team alternating series with the quarterbacks. Corral took that big sack by Willie Brown, had to take a play off to probably get some equipment straight. That's why Leinart came in through that last pass. And of course, Corral, he's no straight to competition. He's right back in there. Not going to let his series go away.
I was going to say that, yeah, if you're only getting every other series and you're used to playing all night, you're not going to miss any snaps. Corral, we told you at the top, with a national record 764 passing yards in one game. One game, 764. Corral, short drop, throws on the slant, throws behind Philip Goodman, and then a late hit as Goodman got leveled.
Sean Taylor came from his free safety position.
They're a little bit late.
Yeah, very late. And, you know, Jim, I understand it's the All-Star game and there's a lot of things that go into it, but, you know, hits like this is what you have to stay away from. That's a very dangerous hit. The player exposed, the ball already incomplete. So you understand there's a lot of tension between these two teams, but all the hits need to be made legally. That time they get Sean Taylor, and that's a big 15-yard penalty.
So at the top of the show, you and I talked about it. Mike Lamb down on the sideline, he has mentioned it, that it may be an all-star game, but for these guys, it's pretty serious that they want to prove something. And if you didn't believe us, all you have to do is watch that replay. These guys are out to lay some weather on one another. It's a personal foul, obviously, moves it down to the 17-yard line, and a first down for California. Philip Goodman, by the way, got up, jogged out the field. No harm, no foul. Corral with a long count, gives to Tyler Ebell. Ebell stutter steps to the 15-yard line. JJ, Mike Lamb talked about Tyler Ebell at the top, that he has something to prove today. He is only 5'9", 160 pounds. National record, his high school senior season, 4,494 yards, but different game at D1. Can he play college football?
Oh, I don't think there's any question. I think that he has the speed and the quickness to be very elusive at the college level. You know, I think that Tyler Ebell will go to UCLA. He'll be behind a huge offensive line. And, you know, you get these guys that they say are too small. They're the ones that work the hardest, and they're the ones that make a difference. Tyler Ebell will definitely go on. Mark my words, I'm marking today. He will definitely go on and make an impact at UCLA.
3 carries for 8 yards for Ebell. Dominic Robinson is in at wide receiver, top of the screen. Corral doesn't even look at him. He looks to the left side. He throws. That ball is intercepted. Ball is picked off by Jamal Fudge.
thought that this was going to be an offensive shootout due to the fact that the defenses have to play a certain defense. Both offenses are loaded with weapons on both sides of the ball, but so far, the defensive backfield for both teams have come up huge, and this is just another big play. Corral throws high on this play. As you see, it's a zone coverage. So that's Sean Taylor. I can't tell by the number. It looked like Sean Taylor, number 21, able to stay back. Or it's Fudge, I'm sorry, number 11.
Yeah, Fudge with the pick, JJ. Fudge is going to Clemson, Ed White High School in Jacksonville. Look like Corral threw that ball off his back foot. It sailed just a bit on him. Fudge in perfect position. So first down for Florida now on the ground. Mike Gilliam. Still no score, 9:15 to play in the first half. There's Fudge over on the sideline.
Big play by Fudge.
Sending some greetings back to Florida. Says, yeah, let's get in that end zone.
Yeah, interceptions, no stranger to him. 8 interceptions during the season.
Now the defense did their job. Now it's up to the Florida offense. I thought it was a good call to run it on first down of the drive. Let everybody settle down a little bit. McPherson pops to the one side, throws back, got a man. Crofonzo Thorpe. Crow Thorpe beat everybody on the corner. McPherson double pump to the left, baited the safeties and threw down the right side.
And Jim, this is a throw that pro quarterbacks can't make, much less high school quarterbacks. Watch McPherson. He's got to stop. He's in the pocket. He's got a pump fake. Well, remember, the whole time that he's pump faking a receiver is stretching the defense, and he throws a strike 60 yards. That's almost, you cannot defend that. If the ball is too far down the field, you require the defensive back to run with the receiver much too long. McPherson right on target.
Crofonzo Thorpe calls himself the fastest man in Florida. He ran a 10:29 in the 100 meters. How good is that? It would have finished 7th in the NCAA finals. He's a high school senior. 54 yards on the catch and carry. Crow Thorpe down to the 6-yard line, first down for Florida. Loose ball. It looks like McPherson got back on it.
Yeah, that matchup, Adrian McPherson and Crofonzo Thorpe, boy, oh boy, that is just dangerous when you have a quarterback that can throw the ball that far on the money. And of course, as you mentioned, Jim, the self-proclaimed fastest man in Florida, Crofonzo Thorpe, able to run under that easily, make a big play.
Second team USA Today, All-American.
See, he already has his Florida State helmet on. Crofonzo Thorpe going to Florida State.
You think Coach Bowden gets the new lids to him early?
Hey, well, yeah, a little early, and he also probably wants him out of this game because he might need him in the fall.
Now they kept the ball, but they lost it down. Second down, McPherson throws late across the middle, up in the air, just throws it up for grabs, and it's caught for a touchdown. And it's Thorpe again. Now that isn't the way they threw it up, but it looked like a touchdown on the box score.
And Jim, we're up behind McPherson, so we can see the angle he threw that ball at. And this is his worst decision of the day, is to throw this ball back across the field and into traffic when he gets the best results, because it turns out to be a touchdown. You see McPherson throws into a crowd. That ball gets tipped actually by a California defender, tips the ball up into the air, and Crofonzo Thorpe right on the spot. So those two big plays on this drive, and Florida takes a 6-0 lead.
So our first score of the day comes to 7:33 to play in the first half. Ryan Rankin now will try to make it 7-0. The guys from Florida. California won this game last year, 22-11 at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Extra point, they take their time, and Rankin is true. Right down the middle. It's 7-0 Florida. A.D. McPherson, the quarterback, has done so many good things today. Got a little lock off the hands of a California defender, and Crow Thorpe makes it 7-0 Florida. Kind of hot day. Crow Thorpe scores the touchdown to put Florida up 7-0. We talked about his speed. We knew he's the fastest guy in Florida because he told us so.
I work hard at what I do. I've heard a lot of people tell me that I was the fastest man in Florida. I mean, I work extremely hard. I mean, nothing comes easy. Definitely as far as speed goes. I mean, I put in maybe 3-4 hours in the period of probably like 3-4 days, you know, just on speed work, doing lunges, squats, parachutes, and bungee cords and such. So, I mean, I work hard. I definitely work hard at what I do.
Bungee cords, parachutes. Wow, anything works.
Yeah, bungee cords to pull you along to get your speed and turnover, and the parachutes, of course, provide some resistance.
Little drag.
Yeah.
Take a look at the drive, 4 plays, 68 yards. Under 2 minutes on it. Of course, the 2 big plays, the touchdown to Thorpe and the 54-yard pass also to Crow Thorpe. And the first one was just pure. Just outran everybody. McPherson made the perfect pump fake and then just laid it out for his receiver. This is going to be Rodney Landingham, Sonora High School, on his way to Oregon State for California. Almost collared, stays on his feet, fighting on the 20-yard line to the 21-yard line.
Takes the football across the 20-yard line.
Now, this should be Matt Leinert's series for California. We'll see if he comes on the field. He does with that red cap. Leinert and David Corral, quarterbacks that are platooning for California.
Well, Jim, the interesting thing about the strategy for this All-Star game is that usually when your offensive coordinator, you strategize to take advantage of defensive weaknesses. Well, unfortunately, on this Florida defense, there isn't any weakness, so really it just becomes execution becomes the important factor. So we'll see if Matt Leinert can just get some execution and move this team down the field.
From the 21-yard line, 7-19, see if California can answer back now. Dorsey's in the backfield, they throw it out on the flat to Philip Goodman. Goodman is the guy who took that big hit earlier on the personal foul. He gets about a yard. Now, big heroes on the field, one of them from last year's game, standing by with Mike Lamb.
Thanks, Jim. I'm with Bernard Thomas, who played in this game last year. What's your remembrance of playing in this game?
The fun and excitement of the game. I think these guys right now, they need to know that this is their last time. They need to get pumped about it. I remember just we could do whatever we want. We could dance. We say we can just have fun. That's the main thing they need to realize. And that's what I remember, just having fun.
You can dance and have a good time, JJ. Leinert going deep, and nobody's there. They overthrew his receiver. It's Dominic Robinson. And now they're just putting a pure athlete on the outside, trying to answer back quickly.
That's right. They try to match speed with speed to try to get a big play. Put Dominic Robinson in there. Going to bring up a 3rd and long, though, for Matt Leinert. You know, Jim, I think that for both teams, you know, you need to show some patience in this game. You need to run the ball. You need to establish the run. That's just basic fundamental football. Right now, the ball is in the air a lot, and there are going to be some big plays when you do that. But over the course of time, you got to keep your defense off the field. The second half to play it's over.
Yeah, and here it is 3rd down and 7. So California, if they don't pick up the first, gives it right back to Florida, and back comes the defense. Leinert. Snap was a little bit high. You had to wait for it. They threw their timing off on everything, and then Matt Clark just got drilled as he went up to catch that ball, and Florida is starting to really lay some people out now.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. When you know that the team is going to throw the ball, the linebackers are able to do just this, what the Florida linebackers are doing, get back in pass coverage and really knock down the lanes. Now, that ball was a good pass by Leinert. Actually hit him right in the chest, so that was a catchable ball. But, you know, for California, if they don't run the ball, they become one-dimensional. You're going to find the linebackers for Florida who have great speed are going to make plays like that.
Travis Coley from Palatka going to Southern Miss with a big hit, perfectly timed, great play. And Brian New in the kick, punts it away. That ball, I think it might have hit one of the California players. It was deflected. The official says it was touched. Rolls out of bounds at the 45-yard line of California, so Florida's going to get a short field. So Brian New has had a field goal and a punt blocked, and Florida starting a little swagger in their step now, JJ. Florida leads California 7-0. Made a big hit in the secondary on Matt Clark, and then on 4th down came in and might have gotten a piece of that punt. We've looked at it a couple of times, and it's tough to tell. Either way, Florida gets the ball up close. Ball actually went out at the 43-yard line, and again, Florida begins a drive on the ground. And we'll take a look at the punt again, and JJ, I don't know, I think it might have grazed the top of his helmet. Watch the yellow helmet coming in left side of your screen. Does it touch him?
Yeah, it is very close, and the way the ball came off of Brian New's foot, it appeared to be partially blocked. But in either case, Travis Coley really makes this play because he puts pressure from the outside. We talked about with a 1 week of practice, very little time, a little amount of time to be able to spend on special teams. So both teams have made plays, and right now, Florida has the best opportunity to take advantage of the California miscue.
Pollock and Moses, the wideouts. That's Moses, makes the catch at the 31, a little juke down to the 27-yard line. Trey Moses, Delray Beach, Atlantic High School, going to Rutgers.
Jim, you'll notice for Florida, the new quarterback Dustin Allman enters the game.
Dustin Allman from Orange Park High School. We'll go to Brett Favre's alma mater, Southern Mississippi, and the book on him, mechanically very sound, no mistakes.
Very sound and a strong arm. 12 touchdowns versus 8 interceptions this year, so he also had 5 running touchdowns and a receiving touchdown, so another good athlete at the quarterback position.
1,850 yards for Dusty Allman. Allman avoids some pressure, throws. There's that arm strength. He keeps his feet in, and the official says he did. Well, that's Gamble who makes the catch. Chris Gamble from Dillard High School in Fort Lauderdale going to Ohio State. And how good is this? He just sits down, JJ, and Allman puts the ball right there.
Jim, this is great field awareness by Gamble. You see how close he was to the sideline, but you got to give Gamble credit. It looked like his knee might have been on the sideline, but in either case, he had field awareness. He did not run out of bounds or step out of bounds, able to keep those feet in and make a nice catch down near the 2 or 3 yard line.
The official took a long time to look at it, and I like the fact he gave him the benefit of the doubt there because Gamble did everything he had to do to keep his feet in and make that catch, and a great pass by Allman. First down for Florida inside the California 5-yard line at the 3. Handoff. Mike Gilliam looked like he had to hesitate a little bit, didn't get a clean handoff. Might even lose a bit here. It's already 7-0 Florida. 4:20 now to play in the first half.
Mike Gilliam headed to Georgia. No stranger to the end zone for him this year, Jim. 33 rushing touchdowns. 1 receiving touchdown, so Mike Gilliam had an outstanding year in his senior year of high school.
Mike Gilliam went to Lincoln High School in Tallahassee, which is the arch rival of Jim Saul's Leon High School. He said, it's finally good to see him on my sideline for a change. 4 carries, 16 yards now for Gilliam on the day. And again, I don't think any of the rushers are going to put up big numbers today. 3 guys in the backfield, and Gilliam is one of them. They faked to Gilliam. And he dropped it.
Like that pass was going for Cephas Johnson.
And Cephas Johnson rolled out. The ball was right where it had to be, and he just dropped it.
I remember in a goal line situation, they put Cephas Johnson in the backfield. He was the one that slipped out of the backfield on the play fake right there, but, you know, the big defensive lineman, not great hands. You got to put that ball right in the chest in order for him to hold on. You see another wide open receiver, but Cephas unable to hold on to that. His time to shine in the glory. You know, linemen don't get many opportunities. You know, Mike Lamb has similar hands. He can't catch balls like that either. So, you know, linemen have a tough time trying to come up with catches like that. They need to leave that stuff to the skill players, Jim.
Cephas Johnson, 6'2", 200, going to Iowa State. How come you pointed at yourself and you said skill players? Incomplete on 3rd down and goal. So California gets tough when it matters most. Inside the 5-yard line. They got a break. Johnson dropped it. Now Allman comes up empty on 3rd down, and so Florida will have to call on Ryan Rankin and ask for a field goal. They've had 2 field goal attempts. Both have been blocked so far.
Yeah, but Rankin has a very strong leg, Jim. He said in practice during the week he was hitting it from 64 yards. So if he, now the wind is going on, blowing right to left, so he's actually kicking into the wind. But if
it's an extra point.
He said today if he can get a shot at a 55 to 60-yard field goal going with the wind at his back, he'll take that shot. This is just a chip shot, though.
Rankin from Riverview, looked good on a PAT before. Riverview High School in Sarasota. He's going to Florida Atlantic. 30 of 32 on PATs during the year, and that's just about what that one was. He bangs it through no problem. Increases Florida lead to 10-0. Now it's time for California to answer back, JJ, because this is something that we were worried about a little bit. Now, just a reminder, don't miss the interactive National Sports Report each and every night at 10:30. Right here on Fox Sports Net, they give you all of the day's scores, highlights, and the late-breaking news in the world of sports. It's the National Sports Report each and every night at 10:30. Be sure to check your local listings. Some folks in Florida make the trip.
And also tonight it will be a tape replay, also a replay tomorrow.
Those folks are friends of Josh Martin, kid from Silmar High School here in California.
The outside linebacker.
And we appreciate Fox Sports Net broadcasting.
Yeah, California, they need to settle down. They need to go back and just take advantage of what the defense is giving them. Right now, they're trying to force the issue. If you're going to force the issue versus a 4-3 3D zone defense is going to cause you all kinds of problems. But they need to try to get that running game going. You have to create some balance in your offense so it just doesn't become a 7-on-7 pass-happy drill. It's too easy for the defense to zero in on your receiver.
Ebell, Clark, and Landingham, and this is going to be Clark scooping it up at the 16-yard line. Goes to his right side. Clark kicking up a little dirt after the 33-yard line.
Across the 30-yard line.
Tackle made by Sean Taylor. And here comes David Corral.
David Corral definitely has the ability through for 4,907 yards in a season, which ranks 3rd nationally. So he's put up big numbers in his high school career. California needs to put up some big numbers and get this team in the end zone.
California looks to be a little bit frustrated right now, JJ, because they're not quite clicking. I think a lot of that credit goes to the Florida defense, which hasn't given the California quarterbacks anything deep. A little bit underneath, just like that. That's Dominic Robinson. Looks like John Mack and the California coaches now just trying to get the ball into the hands of some great athletes. And one of those guys, of course, is Dominic Robinson. There's a flag on the play. 3:14 to go in the first half. Coming up at the break, this is what's ahead for us. Take a look at the players' visit earlier this week to the Ronald McDonald House in Los Angeles. And we'll talk with Chris Ricks, who has ties all over this game. He played for California last year, was one of the heroes, and now he's a quarterback at Florida State University. Of course, Mike and JJ and myself will sit down, look at the numbers and the tape for the first half. John Mack from St. Bonaventure High School, 10 years as the head coach there, back-to-back CIF championships.
We get a chance to see them this year.
And personal foul against Florida again.
Jim, as the tempers continue to flare, the late hits continue to mount up, and the referees are probably at wit's end at this point, so they're going to call penalties on anything that's even close to being late.
Still in the first half. Things are getting a little bit ugly. Corral hands off Tyler Ebell. Ebell pops the seam. Ebell changes hands with a football. Stutter steps to the 34-yard line. Tyler Ebell says, yeah, I can play. I can play here. I can play at UCLA. I can play Pac-10. Just give me the football and get out of the way. Goes 13 yards.
Yeah, Jim, and this is what we've been talking about. With that huge offensive line, if you're California, you got to take advantage of that. Put the ball on the ground. You got a great runner in Ebell in the backfield, able to get to the edge, and once he gets out there, he is very dangerous. But like we talked about, if you're going to go one-dimensional, this Florida team is going to shut you down. You have to keep him honest. Tyler Ebell is the one person that can do that from his running back position.
I've had a chance to know Tyler the last couple of years. What a great kid. Very confident, but just an infectious young man. You love being around him. I said, you know, these Florida guys are going to say, you're pretty small. What do you think of that? He says, they'll say that until I juke them. And they won't think about it. Corral with some traffic throws to Smith. Smith to the 20-yard line. Ryan Smith, St. Joseph's High School. He'll go to UC Davis as a wide receiver.
You know, Jim, I never understood how somebody of Tyler Ebell's stature and with the numbers that he's put up still has to prove himself. Almost 4,500 yards rushing and still has something to prove. That's incredible.
Ebell so far on the day, 4 carries for 21 yards. Take a look at the throw to Smith again. This is what Florida is giving California, giving them that short stuff and then making the tackles. And you wonder how long before they cheat up and then California tries to go deep. Under 2 minutes to play, first half. California shut out so far, 10-0 Florida. Ebell runs for a couple of yards. Johnson, the play for Florida. Cephas Johnson, we've talked about already. Palm Beach Gardens High School, on his way to Iowa State. Cephas Johnson, coaches told us, was probably the most impressive pass rusher all week in camp. 3-year starter, first team All-State, 94 tackles in high school. And had 28 tackles for loss. Among those, 17 sacks.
That's incredible numbers.
Corral again. Ebell stays in to protect. Throws out in the flat. He's got his receiver. It's Charles Ely, who had a catch earlier today. Ely turns it up to the 5-yard line. So California, their deepest penetration here, their first real chance to get in the end zone.
Yeah, and that's Corral throwing it to his main target in high school. Ely, and you can just tell when these two hook up, the timing is there. You know, Pacific Palisades, they both put up a ton of numbers. Ely over 1,200 yards, almost 1,300 yards receiving on the year, and 16 touchdowns. So those two very familiar with each other, and you can tell when the ball goes from Corral to Ely for whatever mysterious reason, is always on time and right on the money.
Yeah, you think those guys have played catch a little bit over the last 4 years? It's a first down at the 5-yard line and whistles before we snap it. And timeout for California. And that timeout had to come from the sideline because the players are ready to go.
Yeah, there's a little bit of confusion. Looked like Demetrius Williams was the extra receiver that the California team needed on the field. So as opposed to taking any chance of taking a penalty this deep in the red zone, they decided to call a timeout.
Joe Conti is our referee. Each team now with 2 timeouts remaining. There's 1:10 to play in the first half. David Corral will go to Vanderbilt. 44 touchdown passes as a senior, and you see the breakdown. Look at Florida State and UCLA at the top of that list. SC did well for themselves. You know, it's funny, JJ, the Pac-10 has come back quickly now in the recruiting wars.
Yeah, and the other thing that you got to remember is Washington, you see them with 3, and they actually pulled guys off of the Florida roster. So, you know, these colleges definitely recognize where the talent is. The talent is definitely on this field. A ton of blue chip prospects. We've talked about it. We can't emphasize it enough. These players are going to go on to outstanding college careers, some of them also in the NFL.
First down for California. Tyler Ebell. Ebell fights his way to the 2-yard line. Now, Holmes got through first. Courtney Holmes from Stranahan High School in Fort Lauderdale going to UMass. He got through and got a hold of Ebell. Now, Holmes goes 240, and Ebell is about $160 maybe. So he's got an 80-pound advantage, and Ebell's still able to break out of the tackle and pick up about 1.5 yards. Would that be a mismatch?
That's a huge mismatch.
Second down from the 2.5. And off Ebell. Ebell trying to get in the end zone. Carrying a guy with him in shorts. It's Kevis Coley. Kevis Coley got on his back and rode him down at about the 1-foot line. Coley weighs over 200.
Close to the goal line.
Yeah, Kevis Coley going to Southern Mississippi. Watch the job by Kevis Coley, able to penetrate behind the blocker, slip a block, and bring Ebell down. Now, remember, Ebell, very low center of gravity, very tough to bring somebody back, but that time Coley able to deny him the end zone, bring up a 3rd and short.
And another timeout. John Mack, the California head coach, comes out into his huddle. And that's a little bit interesting because John Mack is handling the defense for California. Angelo Gasca, who's the head coach at Venice High School, is acting as the California offensive coordinator. But it was Mack who came out on the field. John Mack, background there, the green cap. Nice guy. Had a chance to spend some time with him at camp. Just loves high school football. Third down and 23 seconds to play in the first half. They empty the backfield. Corral keeping himself, tries to step in. Corral, does he penetrate enough? They're not going to give him the touchdown. No official with their hands in the air. The clock running at 14-13, and now the clock stops.
Charles Sharon from Blanca will be attending Bowling Green.
You know, Jim, the defense is going to get a great push on the offensive line, but I really don't understand that play. Why would you want Corral to carry that ball this close to the goal line? Go back and give it to Ebell and run over those big hogs up front. They're huge up front. You only need 1.5 yards, and give it to the quarterback. He steps back. That allowed the defense to get that surge and almost bring him down for a loss.
Did they outthink themselves, JJ? They try to get a little too cute. We're going to empty the bag, but we're throwing this football. Oops, here comes our quarterback.
Right, but you're not going to fool anybody down here on the goal line. You know, you're too close to actually take that chance of throwing the ball. You got to pound this ball. If you're the California team, you say, hey, there's 1 yard to go. You have 2 chances that if you can't pick up 1 yard or 2 rushes, you don't deserve to score. We'll see if they go back to the run at this point.
Well, they only need about 3 inches right now. It is 4th down, and there is 13 seconds to play in the first half, and this crowd comes to their feet. Corral under center. California down 10-0. Ebell's in the backfield. They give it to the guy who had 64 touchdowns, and he gets 65.
Jim, and that play was made by Tyler Ebell because I tell you, Kevis Coley had another shot to bring down Ebell in the backfield for a loss, and that would have really shifted the momentum toward the Florida side. But Ebell able to use his quickness to elude the tackler, get into the end zone. California right back in this.
Mighty Mouse becomes the superhero for California, and you got to wonder if Bob Toledo was watching this game, the UCLA head coach nodding his head and said, yeah, we knew all along he could play.
That's right. You see, Coley, how fortunate California is because Coley was was unblocked, untouched, and he was actually in position to make that play. But Ebel, he is very quick, very shifty, able to just sidestep Cooley into the end zone. California back within 3.
Brian New with the extra point. And cuts Florida's lead to 10-7. Well, you know, people talk about how small Tyler Ebel is. He says, hey, that's an advantage for me. I have a low center of gravity. You talked about it. He can avoid those big guys, and you see he gets by Kevin Cooley right here. Ebel with the handoff, keeps his head up, makes the one cut he has to, and steps into the zone.
That's right, Jim. And you know, with running backs, it's vision, speed, and quickness, and Tyler Ebel has all of those, and that's why he is so successful. He's not going to beat you with his size, but he is quicker than everybody on the field. He has great vision. He's able to set up his blocks and elude tacklers like on that last play, and that's why he is thought of in such high regard in going to UCLA.
66 yards on the drive for California. You saw the graphic. It's a good one. Tyler Ebel, 21 yards of those on his own.
So we talked about California going exclusively to the pass in earlier series. This last drive, they decided to commit themselves to the running game. That opened up the short passing game. That was a nice drive, nice play calling by the California coach.
Mike Lamb talked about it at the top of the show that Tyler Ebel, probably more than anybody else on this football field today, still had something left to prove. All of these other guys with great resumes after 4 years on the prep level. Ebel gets the UCLA scholarship. A lot of people question that. Even some Bruin backers said, I don't know, can he really play? He's a small kid, played out in Ventura. Maybe the competition wasn't so good. I'll tell you what, this guy's for real.
Yeah, Jim, and I tell you, they said the same thing about another UCLA tailback, Deshaun Foster, and now you see what he's doing at UCLA. They couldn't be happier to get him, and everybody in the Pac-10 is wondering, how did we let this guy get by? So Deshaun Foster, another guy that went to a small school that quote-unquote had something to prove after getting almost 5,000 yards rushing in his career, and, you know, goes on to great things at UCLA. I think Tyler Ebel is along those same lines.
Deshaun Foster came out of Myron Miller's great program down at Tustin High School, where they only throw the ball on days that end in X. At halftime, of course, check in with the visit to the Ronald McDonald House, and that had a great impact on a lot of these young men on both sides. Talked with Chris Ricks, the Florida State quarterback. Of course, played his high school football in California, graduated from Santa Margarita High School down in the Orange County area. We'll look at the highlights from the first half. 10-7. Florida's going to take a knee and extinguish the clock in the first half. Pretty much what we expected, JJ. We expected some big things to happen on the field, not necessarily a lot of offense because these guys only had a week to get together.
Well, yeah, but the team speed of both teams is just phenomenal, and that is what has really been the factor why the defense has been so effective.
Here's one of the key plays of the first half. Watch the pump fake by A.D. McPherson, and then he throws to Crow Thorpe, who's got everybody beat on the corner, went for 54 yards and put Florida inside. But then later in the drive, McPherson just thrown up. He wasn't looking for Thorpe, but Thorpe came down with it for the touchdown. That made it 7-0 Florida at that point. They added a field goal, 10-7. California scores before the half. And that's where we stand, 10-7 right now. Let's go down to Mike Lamb on the sideline.
I'm with California head coach John Mack, and Tyler Ebel's not the biggest guy in the world, but was there any doubt in your mind who you're giving it to on fourth?
There's no question. Tyler is probably 125 pounds a man, and 124 of those is heart. That kid brings everything he's got. I'm real proud of him. He's going to punch it in again. Watch the second half.
Are you happy with what you've seen from the team so far?
Well, we like to be leading by a bunch right now, so we're going to have to come out and do something to get it going. But, you know, they're playing hard, doing everything that we've asked them to do, and we just got to take advantage, get us some breaks, and get it in the end zone.
Any adjustments that you can make?
Not a lot of adjustments in this game, but hopefully we'll run better, catch better, and block better.
Coach, good luck.
All right.
Back up to you, Jimmy.
Mike Lamb, John Mack is one of those great football coaches, always has a smile on his face. He's always pumped up, a very positive guy. He's got to feel good right now. California gets back on the board, back in the game, 10-7. Tyler Ebel. Sean Taylor and Gamble are back. Chris Gamble. It's Taylor at the 6-yard line. Both of these guys are explosive and dangerous. It's Sean Taylor. Taylor out of bounds just before the 40-yard line. Both of those guys are very scary. And just reading their stats and then coming out to practice and watching them run around, I don't know, I might chip it.
Yeah, Sean Taylor going to Miami.
Here's McPherson's first half numbers, 9 of 12 for 152, and both a touchdown, and Dominic Robinson picked him in the end zone to end the drive.
Yeah, the most impressive part of his statistics, Jim, 9 of 12. So that just goes to show he's making the right decision, he's making the right reads. He has thrown an interception, but that was only because of a great play by Dominic Robinson.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad throw. Probably his worst throw of the first half was the touchdown to Crow Thorpe because it got tipped by a defender before it went into his receiver's hands. From the shotgun to start the second half. Throw it out in the flat to Jones. Jones turns that corner well. California a little lazy to get there. Matt Ware came up, dropped the shoulder. Jones went right past him to the 50.
Larry Jones has a low center of gravity and tremendous quickness around the edge. This is just a quick screen pass, and this is just designed to take advantage of that 3 deep coverage. Remember, there's nobody in the flat, and so when you get a runner like Jones out in the open field, he's able to make plays like this. Matt Ware had to come up from his safety position. He was the first person to even come in contact with Jones, but not after a big play.
Here's McPherson just shifting his way down to about the 43-yard line. He never really committed to the run until he crossed the line of scrimmage. It looked like he could pull it back at any time.
Adrian McPherson, he is really going to be the prototype of quarterbacks in the future. Quarterback that is agile, able to run, half roll. I mean, you really have to adjust your defensive scheme when you face a quarterback like this. No longer can your pass rushers just rush the quarterback. They have to rush within lanes. It makes your job for your offensive lineman so much easier to pass block.
Yeah, it's obvious the game has changed even at this level, that you want a quarterback who's maneuverable, who's athletic, who can do things. Here's Jones again. Well, they keep getting Jones out on that corner. Jones from Leon High School, his head coach, of course, is the coach of Florida, so they know the system, they know the play. Jim Sauls throws it to the guy he knows. Jones out of the corner. The thing about Jones, JJ, he gets the ball and he just turns that corner, he squares it up, goes right upfield.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's moving that fast, but you can see he just leaves defenders behind, and in that low center of gravity, he goes down and punishes defensive backs in the secondary. So they have found a weakness in the California defense, a weak side swing pass. So we'll see if California can make any adjustments to stop that.
Larry Jones, 19 yards, moves it down to the California 24-yard line. So they fake the run. McPherson rolls, buffs the softball to the end zone, touchdown. It's Pollock. Jaworski Pollock was all alone. And remember, those two guys were high school teammates at Southeast High in Bradenton. And Florida comes out and just drives down the field and stuffs it in the end zone, JJ.
Now, Jim, we saw Matt Leinart make a touch pass when it was appropriate, and here's McPherson doing the same thing. Half roll down. McPherson had a choice to run, throw the ball in the flat, but no, he shows patience, waits for Polak to uncover. Great patience by the quarterback and trust in his receivers, and he laid that ball right on the money. Easy catch and throw. Those two hooked up this year for 20 touchdowns. Polak had 20 touchdowns, so they are very, very familiar territory with another touchdown score and a quick strike from the Florida team.
Ryan Rankin with an extra point can once again make it a 10-point lead for Florida. And it's through. So it's 17-7. Jaworski Pollock, they call him Jaws. Just ran down and curled to the outside. California was late to react. McPherson with a touch pass. He can throw it 60 yards, but he threw that one soft for the score. Jaworski Pollock, the 24-yard touchdown reception from A.D. McPherson puts Florida back up on top of California, 17-7. Second annual Cali-Florida Bowl. Last year we were at the Rose Bowl. This year up in Santa Barbara. Look at that, 64 yards in just 4 plays. They went 14 yards, 7 yards, 19 yards, and 24 yards. Pretty good opening drive of the second half, JJ?
Yeah, just incredible. The halftime adjustments made by the coaches. Found a couple of weaknesses in the California defense, took advantage of them, and then when it came time to get the bread and butter, it was McPherson to Polak.
Matt Clark takes a knee in the end zone. Let's go down. On the sideline, Mike Lamb.
And I'm here with Jaworski Polak, who scored that touchdown. And man, what did the coaches say to you at halftime?
Well, they just told us to come out, play like the game just started all over. 0-0, so we came out, got fired up, and we had to go.
Talk to me about the touchdown play.
Well, I gave him a little post corner, and I got him to turn his hips, and I turned it back out to the outside, and I got him.
Turn the hips, you get him every time, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Good luck with the rest of the game. Back up to you, Jim.
Obviously, standing next to Mike Lamb, anybody looks small, but Jaws is only 5'8", 165. Still, he had 20 touchdowns for Southeast High School. At the other end of A.D. McPherson's throws, Matt Leinart is back in at quarterback for California. Leinart looks downfield, has to go underneath, and I don't know if he ever made up his mind. He had 2 guys on the left side.
Yeah, bad decision by Matt Leinart right there. He showed a little bit of indecision. He was trying to go downfield to Demetrius Williams, and when that was covered, he wanted to throw the dump-off pass. He seemed a little upset with himself on that throw. See his numbers in the first half, 5 of 11.
Second down and 10 for California, and I think they're right back in the same position they were at the end of the first half, JJ, when they were down 10-0. They had to score, they had to answer. Right back there again after Florida's opening touchdown here in the third quarter. Got to get something. Maybe not points, but you got to move this football. And out to Dorsey. Out to the 35-yard line.
So Jim, I tell you, from a coaching perspective, it's really tough to coach this game because you know you have great skill players at the skill position, so the tendency is to go out and throw the ball, but really you can make this into a smash-mouth game with that huge offensive line up front. They've been able to run the ball and been effective on the ground. See a nice run to the outside, able to pick up valuable yardage, and the linebackers for the Florida team are really soft in coverage because California's throwing the ball so much. So those run plays off tackle should be there.
Dominic Dorsey now 3 carries for 25 yards. He's the guy who's going to UNLV to play for JJ's dad and John Robinson. There's Dorsey again. Tripped over his quarterback's foot, managed to keep his balance and fall forward for a yard. Mike Lamb is on the sideline, and Mike, at this point of the game, I think the most important thing for California is to control that offensive line.
Well, you look at the offensive line, and I think California's not panicking. They're still pounding away. You saw a zone play the time before. This time you see a little counterplay. Those are plays that you use when you want to try to wear down the defense.
Second down and 8 now for California. Leinart goes from the shotgun. Modern day traditional running team, but over the last couple of years has thrown the ball much, much more. And you can see that that's the result. Touch pass, Matt Leinart to Charles Ely. Ely, a little turnout. Mike, one of the things that you talked with the coaches about during this week was pass protection, and that these guys at this level may not have those skills.
Well, the pass protection was an issue, and they thought they were going to have to roll everybody because the way the California defensive line was beating up on the California offensive line in practice this week. But to this point, they've done okay, but they've had to make an adjustment. They've got to double team those 2 inside tackles. Those are the guys who are getting the pressure.
It's a first down at the 48-yard line of California. Leinart turns it hands to Dorsey. Now they seem to have Florida a little bit off balance. That whole open and close quickly, but a pretty good game. Mike, talk to me, because you played offensive line for USC. Talk to me about the teamwork, the game within the game, those 5 guys up front, the schemes, the communication, and the strategy with the guys in the trench.
Well, there's a lot of communication, but I mean, more than anything else, you want them to wear somebody down, and especially when you've got the running backs that California's got, not the most physical guys. You want to have somebody suck and win on the defensive line so he can't chase down the likes of a Tyler Ebell, so that they can't get off and tee off on Matt Leinart, and that's the key to winning this game.
Leinart again from shotgun. Looks to his right side, throws near the sideline. Is it Williams? Demetrius Williams. The Florida coaches are saying he was out of bounds. The officials are conferring. And look at the lobbying by the Florida coaches.
Yeah, there's a touch pass by Leinart to Demetrius Williams. Williams showing great awareness on the sideline, knows where he's at, tries to keep his feet in. He's definitely in bounds. The right foot got down, of course, in high school football. 1 foot makes you go. And Mike, I have a question about the offensive line also. At this point of the game, is the California offensive line getting the best of the Florida defensive line, or is it vice versa?
No, I think Florida's still the dominant of the 2, but they're starting to wear down. They're starting to get a little bit tired, and we'll see how it happens in the 4th quarter for them.
Yeah, Jim, you know the most. Give a chance to see Leinart back to pass another throw route on the money
to Smith. Ryan Smith from St. Joseph's is pretty solid today, running some good routes. He's got good size. He goes about 6'1", $180. Top of your screen, the white helmet.
Yeah, just a little combo route. You see the out, clears the underneath coverage, and then the curl right behind it. Matt Leinart right on the money.
15 yards. California is answering back, trying to keep themselves in this football game. Down to the 18-yard line, and again, it's a first down. Hand off Dominic Dorsey. Dominic Dorsey off blocks downfield to about the 11-yard line. Oh, we're talking about the offensive line with Mike Lamb, because Mike Lamb, of course, played offensive line in college for USC. Big number, I believe it was 61, wasn't it, Mike? You'll see him here on the right side of your screen against UCLA, just pancaking a gutty little throw. Do you remember that one? But if you start to think about the athleticism, watch Big 61 here, cut across. Oh! Now, not one of your big highlights, but you were behind the play, so it didn't matter, Mike.
The first play is the one I like to remember.
I'm amazed we found highlights of Lamb. Did they have video back then?
It's on Kinescope.
Mike, talk about your years at USC, because I'm tired of hearing JJ talk about his years. You were there at 79 to about 83?
Yeah, and back when men were men, just the pre-JJ era.
Defend yourself, JJ.
Yeah, rings, Lamb, rings. You got to, Pac-10 championships and all that for us. See, it's a matter of how many rings you got sometimes, buddy.
It is. It's all about the rings, JJ.
Here's what it's about, as I understand, with USC football. What were your records against UCLA and Notre Dame?
Well, Jim, at this point...
I'm sorry, JJ, did you give me a number?
This point is, I think it was undefeated for SC. I can't really remember that far back, but we had a great run against UCLA.
John Jackson and Mike Lamb. Leinert rolls. Leinert, a soft pass again, corner of the end zone. He's got his man, it's Ely. Touchdown.
To number 9.
And Charles Ely has been killing Florida today. He and Smith have been the two dangerous wideouts for California. And Leinert, again, a nice soft timing pass.
And Jim, you saw the post corner route work for Florida, where California comes back with the same route. You see Ely bend him inside, get the DB to turn his hips, and then that ball thrown right in the corner of the end zone by Matt Leinert. And that's two great touch passes by two great quarterbacks. Both of them took the same approach to throw the same route. There's no sense to zip that ball in. You just throw it to an area and let your receivers go get it. That time, Matt Leinert right on the money.
Extra point by Brian New, and just like that, California comes back. It's 17 to 14 now. Every time Florida pulls away, California answers.
14 for California.
Now Charles Ely, 4 catches, 56 yards, and this one for a touchdown from Matt Leinert. California back within 3. Charles Ely in the corner. How'd he get open, JJ?
Well, Jim, it was a post corner move by Ely. Got the DB to turn his hips, and Leinert throws it to an area right in the corner of the end zone. There's no way you're getting Ely out of the end zone, by the way, on that pass. Nice catch, able to keep his feet in bounds. Nice pitch and throw, and Leinert that time very effective on that drive. 4 for 4, leads his team down to a score.
So both the quarterback and the receiver, they know where the ball's going to end up, and they know about the time it's supposed to be there.
That's exactly, Jim, and that's what Matt Leinert did. He watched his receiver, able to set the defensive back up, gave him some time with that half roll, and then threw it to an area. The receiver knows where the ball's going to come down. He's aiming for a point. Leinert put it right there.
California breaks out of the huddle. Brian New runs up to put the ball on the tee. Florida doesn't even flinch. They just stand there. Back deep for Florida, a couple of new faces at least at this end of the field. Charles Frederick, and the other guy is Kerfonso Thorpe. Crow, of course, has killed California. 54-yard reception down to the 5-yard line, and then he had the touchdown to cap off that drive. And does Brian New kick it to number 8?
Along with Frederick.
He kicks it to Frederick. Frederick at the 25. Frederick gets to this corner. It could be dangerous. California trying to stretch him out, and Frederick out across the 40-yard line. Spencer Havner from Grass Valley High School, Nevada Union, is the guy who got there. 37 yards on the return, or Frederick might have had a lot more. There is a penalty flag. A reminder coming up on Tuesday, July 10th. Don't miss the 2001 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. There's a little tenderness in his shoulder recently, but he came back and he actually pitched the other night. I don't think he got the victory, but pitched well through 5.5 innings. There's an injured player for Florida down on the 30-yard line, and so far we haven't been able to get a number. Mike Lamb is down on the sideline. I'm sure he'll have some information for us here in just a couple of seconds. Different game now, JJ. When we started out, it was all the defenses, and it looks now like the offenses have begun to catch up a bit.
Yeah, and I think it just took a little time for these players to get used to going full speed. Remember, you can't simulate game speed in practice, so all week they have not had to play against as challenging a defense that each offense has had to face today. So now they're getting a little acclimated to what's going on and getting into a little bit of rhythm, and we're getting the offensive fireworks that we expected from the top of this game.
California offenses look better, much because of the work of Matt Leinert standing by with Mike Lamb.
I'm with California.
Hopefully we're getting out the score soon.
Matt Leinert, the California quarterback, and that's Pete Carroll's boy. He's going to USC. Back to you, Jim.
He is Pete Carroll's boy, isn't he, JJ?
Oh, yeah. They got high expectations from Matt Leinert. Pete Carroll brought in Norm Chow, the offensive coordinator, and that offense that Norm Chow has directed at BYU in his career has been so successful. So I know Matt Leinert, and I had a chance to talk to his father before the game today, are very excited about playing for Norm Chow.
The injured player for Florida was Cephas Johnson. He was helped off the field. He walked off on his own power, and now they're massaging that left leg. Let's just hope it's a cramp.
Yeah, that's the one thing about playing in these all-star games, Jim. You know, there's always the fear of injury. Remember, a lot of these players are that talented that they will go from this game and be playing in the fall. So there's a lot of coaches that are very wary of players playing in this game because they'll need them in the fall coming up.
McPherson breaks out. McPherson across midfield. Roaming open field, steps out of bounds at the 30, and there's a huge block downfield by Frederick. Charles Frederick absolutely laid out one of the California players, and a flag came in. 28 yards on the run by A.D. McPherson. First time we've really seen him have some open space. They just stepped out of bounds. Frederick with the big block downfield. I'm not sure if he got Matt Ware, but somebody went head over heels.
Yeah, well, as McPherson broke into the open field, Jim, you're going to see Matt Ware in pursuit, and he's going to get chopped below the waist. Look at the top of your screen if we can see it right there.
And it was Ware.
That is an illegal block. You cannot chop below the waist, so that'll push Florida back 15 yards once again, and these costly penalties have cost Florida, at least we know, had an effect on 7 points in this game. We'll see if this slows down their drive.
Now the penalty is from the point of the infraction, so it only goes back to the 45, but they still lose about 12 yards in the exchange. So it's back at the 45, and it's first down. McPherson rolls to his right, has great protection. Jones is right there in front of him, Larry Jones. Now he throws, open man. Is it Crow? It's Crow again. Another big block downfield, Kerfonso. Thorpe, another move, Thorpe to the 5-yard line. A huge block downfield, and the Florida bench is going nuts. 40 yards for Crow Thorpe. He's got over 100 yards total offense now.
Jim, the self-proclaimed fastest man in Florida, has moves also. Watch McPherson, though, the patience. He rolls out. Now watch, as the rush comes up, that leaves Thorpe open behind him. And a great throw, and now, of course, with the great speed, Thorpe able to pick up a couple blocks. But watch the moves, the shiftiness, able to slip Matt Ware's tackle there, get back up the field. That is a great run after catch. It's the rack yardage by Kerfonso Thorpe.
You know, the big block again was on Matt Ware, but he came back right there to miss the tackle and get back involved in the play, but they're going after Matt Ware.
Right, well, that's why Matt Ware is so highly regarded. You can see he can get blocked, come back, and get back into the play. But Kerfonso Thorpe with a great run.
There's that pump fake by McPherson again. Here comes California with the pressure, backside, and they get to it and put him down at the 19-yard line. Bernard Fano from Fountain Valley, and he can move. The coaches talked about his speed. He's a huge guy, but he moves so well off the corner. He goes 260 pounds. He's 6'3", and he's light on his feet.
Yeah, Fano did a great job of pursuing, but also the pressure from the backside by Jabril Ramo. He came from that weak linebacker position. You see him right there on your screen. He's going to track down McPherson from the backside, able to get his feet as Fano cleans him up from the top. A big play and a huge loss of yardage for the Florida All-Star team.
I love Jabril Ramo. Yeah, he is the guy who set it up, made it easy for Fano. They lose 14 yards on the sack. And Ramo, again, we talked about Ware, and we talked about Dominic Robinson. Just see Bernard Fano going to the bench, but Jabril Ramo is a special football player from Beverly Hills High School on his way to UCLA. That looks like it might have been a lateral. Doesn't matter. He catches it. There's Trey Ellis, also from Leon High School in Tallahassee. Ellis, not a big guy himself, 5'8", 165. He's Tyler Ebell's size.
Yeah, Jim, and I can tell you the Florida offensive coaches have found a weakness in the weak side pass defense of the California team. They're able to throw that swing pass out and pick up positive yards every time they've ran that play. That time, another good gain.
Now, each team has had the ball once and has scored a touchdown, and now Florida on their second possession here in the second half continues to move it. Cephas Johnson continues to get some medical help over on the sideline. Florida only 20% on third down conversions, and this is a 3rd and long.
Penalty flag before the snap. It's going to be a dead ball foul.
Let's go down to Mike Lamb on the sideline.
Injury update for you guys. For Florida, number 65, Cephas Johnson, with a strain of the medial collateral ligament. He is done for the day. And his day's over in the Cal Florida Bowl. Back to you, Joe.
His day is over. His high school career is over. So now he'll start thinking about Iowa State as he sits over in the California sunshine with his leg up on the bench. But his Florida teammates trying to finish this one off.
Yeah, Jim, you know it's always scary when they say that there's a strain in anything dealing with the knee and the ligament, so we'll hope that he's all right.
It is 3rd down and goal now from the 19-yard line, so Florida's got to put this ball in the end zone or set up a field goal. AD rolls to his right, throws underneath at the 5-yard line, ball's incomplete, and it'll be 4th down. He tried to go to Pollock. Pollock already has a touchdown in that corner. John Walker from Birmingham High School in Van Nuys with the coverage. He'll play in the fall at USC. Put the flags on the goalpost and said, with the wind.
That's right.
Like I'm an idiot.
The wind is blowing right to left here in Santa Barbara. Not a strong wind, but a slight wind.
So it's going to be a 36-yard field goal.
As I talked about earlier, the most difficult thing about being a field goal kicker today is that the goalposts are NFL goalpost regulations, so they're not as wide as they are normally at the college or the high school level.
Trey Ellis is the holder. Remember, it's an all-star game, so anything's possible. Another field goal is blocked. California blocks it and comes up with the ball, and it's a scrum across the 30. Where are the whistles? Out to the 35-yard line. Guys are piling on. Both benches pour out onto the field, and no problem. Ryan Rankin comes up empty.
To the 35-yard line, where California will take
Jabril Rabo comes up with
As a result, there has been big plays for the special teams of the defending teams.
So it'll be 1st down for California, and David Corral is back at quarterback. 35-yard line, short drop, pressure coming. He steps up, gets himself 6 yards. Good recognition by Corral, good read and react.
Corral had nothing downfield, so he decided to tuck that ball and go. See him fired up on the California sideline. Deservedly so.
The ball is the 41-yard line.
2:20 now to play in the 3rd quarter. California, their first real chance here in the latter part of the game to go in front. Mike Lamb, all these blocked field goals, what's going on up front?
Well, I mean, the special teams are the first thing that's going to suffer in an all-star game because it's the last thing you're going to practice. You want to be able to just run your plays. You want to be able to throw and catch the football, and you never practice special teams until the last 5 minutes of practice.
Tyler Ebell out to midfield. And so folks in Florida and folks here in California who didn't get a chance to see Tyler Ebell play in high school start to understand why this guy piled up nearly 4,500 yards. Put that in perspective for you, it's more than twice Eric Dickerson's NFL record of 2,100 yards back in '84 with the Rams.
And Mike, you're down there getting a chance to look at Tyler Ebell up close and personal. How fast is he and how shifty is he in the hole? I think we lost Mike Lamb, so we'll get back to him.
So far, Ebell, JJ, with 38 yards on 9 carries, and he's got a touchdown, remember. Corral. And Corral is dropped. It's Willie Jones.
Yeah, Willie Jones again with his 2nd sack.
I like the looks of Willie Jones.
Yeah, Jim, and
he did at Florida State, too. That's why he's going there.
That's right, and he's playing with a injured knee. They didn't think, like I said before, they didn't think he was going to be able to play, but he's making his impact today.
Willie Jones played at Miami Carroll City High School. Same intensity that we're seeing today. Fast off. We talked about the special teams and how they've suffered. Mike said it's because, you know, they only had 1 week to practice, 3 blocked field goals, blocked punt, 2 picks, and 4 sacks. They get some fast, talented defensive players and some offensive guys who are still getting to know one another, and they only have a week to do it. Corral brought that ball down and got popped. Coming in, it was Ovens St. Preux.
Yeah, Jim, and that's a coverage sack. Corral just held the ball too long and he just had no place to go with it down the field, so great coverage by the Florida secondary.
St. Preux from Immokalee, 6'3", 210, and he will play for the Vols at Tennessee. Well, you know, that was the interesting thing, John, when we were going up and down the rosters and you're seeing schools, Florida State and Ohio State, and Tennessee, and Stanford, and SC, and UCLA, and Washington. Wow, this is a good group here.
Yeah, this is an amazing pool of talent That's why everybody was so excited to get to this game. Florida felt last year they didn't send their best team, so this year they made sure that they sent their best team.
California says we own the fourth quarter. Matt Ware says it's ours. It's always been ours. A great career loyal. He'll go on to UCLA, but so far, Florida leads this game 17-4. Last week, he's been the California head coach here in Santa Barbara for Cali-Florida Bowl 2. Right now, he finds his California All-Stars down 3 with 12 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. David Corral, California quarterback, caught from behind and hammered. He tried to wait. Finally ran out of time.
Jim, Chauncey Davis is kind of explode around the corner after he beats his blocker. Now he's going to come from your left side of the screen, but watch Corral, he's half rolling and just watch a blur. Now this blur is 6'3", 235, and he just corrals, spikes him into the ground. That is an incredible play by Chauncey Davis.
And that's a block that Tyler Ebel should have come back and made. He was on the wrong side of the quarterback on the rollout and didn't come back to help him out.
Hey, wait a minute, Lamb, you got to blame the running back? How about the lineman?
He's never going to blame a lineman. That ball is taken on a fly up front by Sean Taylor. Oh, that could have been very dangerous. Brian New got that ball off quick. He's seen all the blocks. He got rid of it in a hurry. Sean Taylor took it like a second baseman. Little line drive. Taylor going to Miami, played at Gulliver High School in Miami. Dusty Allman is back in at quarterback for Florida as both teams continue to shuffle in the quarterbacks in and out. Passing yards through 3 quarters. Florida now with a big advantage, 259 to 187. Allman with 32 of those yards. You want some yards as a quarterback for Florida, just throw it to Crow Thorpe.
Yeah, no kidding. He has produced a huge chunk of those passing yards for Florida. Big catch in the first half and a big run after catch here in the second.
Second down and short now. Ahmed takes the high snap, hands it off to Gilliam. Gilliam, first down, spun down to the 36-yard line. And now you can feel the balance in this game because early on, guys were just backpedaling and expecting to throw, but now both teams have gone to the run a little bit, so you got to play honest.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it will do, Jim. It'll keep the linebackers. Remember, that's the key to stopping the pass. Is your linebackers in the 4-3 defense have to get into pass coverage because these teams are going to single back 4 receivers. And when you run the ball, it forces them to inch up to the line of scrimmage and opens up all the other things you want to do in the passing game. So there's a lot of running lanes with the linebackers playing deep off the ball, trying to get into pass coverage.
Mike Gilliam, 5 carries, 26 yards now for Florida. Almond rolls, good protection. He has got all day, just needs somebody to throw it to. California with blanket coverage, and that ball is knocked down. That's a good play by California. Justin Finnessy is the guy who knocked it to the turf, but everybody scattered, smothered, and covered. They were all over him.
Yeah, once again, a coverage sack and a great job by the secondary for the California defense. Play action fake. They're going to fake to Gilliam after a nice run earlier the play before. And so now you think that things are going to open up downfield. Well, the California defense very aware of what's going on, able to get all over the receivers, as you see. And Allman had no place to throw the ball. He throws it right into the chest of one of the defenders.
And Jimmy, just to validate JJ's point, the secondary is doing a great job. They're pressing and putting 8 in the box. So there's a lot of pressure on the corners. And Florida's still having a hard time throwing the football down the field.
Mike, is there a weakness? Where would you go?
You got to try to run against that 8.
He's going to throw it to the corner. They're going for Thorpe. And Thorpe couldn't get to it. Good coverage.
Yeah, the cornerbacks for the California defense learning a lesson on the speed of Thorpe, that time playing off in coverage.
JJ, look at these 2 athletes. You got Crow Thorpe and you got Dominic Robinson.
Yeah, and
stride for stride.
Right, and look at the angle that Dominic Robinson took. Anytime you're a defensive back, you want to close the angle and push into the receiver. Dominic did that time, kept himself in between the receiver and the ball. Nice defensive play.
And that's an important thing, and a lot of young guys don't understand that about angles as a defensive back, as a cornerback, as a safety. You want to stay between your man and the ball.
Right, and anytime you're the corner, you recognize that the receiver is going deep or going up for a pass. You want to take the angle to cut him off and get in between that pass.
3rd down and 10. They set up the screen. It's Jones, Larry Jones. Plenty of space. Jones to the 15-yard line. First down, Florida. A great call and well done by Dusty Allman, the quarterback. Really disguised it.
Yeah, Jim, we've seen a couple screen plays today that have been so effective, and I think it's because of the aggression of
big guys running up front, Matt Hines from North Florida Christian in Tallahassee, 4-time state champions during his time on campus.
Mike Gilliam, 5'9", 190-pounder from Tallahassee, Lincoln.
Matt Hines is also a first-team All-State selection.
Takes the football
There's Matt Hines.
down to the 13.
You know where he's going, JJ? That's right. You know, it's so funny. The guys who stand out, I look down to see what school they're going to, and more than half the time it's Florida State. No wonder they're so good.
Oh, it's just not fair.
2nd down and 8 now. From the 14-yard line. They pick the run again. Almond. Straight arms a man. Dusty Almond. The quarterback with a little attitude. Laid across the middle, just getting rid of that football. Now, Dusty Almond made about 3 really good plays, and it goes as an incompleted pass. How about the straight arm?
Yeah, and Jim, Dusty Almond goes 6'2", one chance to see, you know, the athletic ability of the players that are on the field today. Just unbelievable. You just can't appreciate it enough, the plays they're making against other great athletes.
Dusty Almond, who's going to go to Southern Mississippi. I mentioned before, Brett Favre's alma mater, and that looked like a Favre play. A quarterback with attitude. Get off me. I'm not done with this play yet. 2 receivers to the right, 3 to the right, actually, and 1 to the left. And now they'll send 4 guys on the right side of this attack. And the ball was intended on the left side for Charles Frederick, and Frederick slipped as he made his cut. That threw the timing off, so Almond had no chance.
Jimmy, the Florida coaches have been talking in their huddle about the fact that they feel the slant is there. They feel the safeties are cheating over, trying to bracket the receivers on the other side, and they're going to try to do that. But the problem is when you get down inside the 10-yard line, you can change your defense a little bit in these all-star games. So what you've been doing all game long might not work down in the red zone.
Hey, Mike, here's another field goal by Ryan Rankin. Watch those guys up front. Are they sealed?
Even money.
It's a 31-yard field goal. He got this one off. It goes just outside the upright. And I think Rankin might maybe a little bit preoccupied with just getting that ball off the tee. They miss again. Rains at 3-point. 8:13 to play. Yeah, it's been interesting, and Ryan and his organization have been getting a lot of press, JJ. And after this play, I'm going to ask you, because you played college football, what your impressions are. California going to keep it on the ground. What do you think? Is this all a good idea?
Well, you know, me being an ex-football player, of course, I'm going to be biased, but I definitely think it is. I think what happens a lot of times with the illegal recruiting and all the things that go on in college football is the football players cannot afford to have the normal means due to the rules and stipulations. Now, there has to be strict rules around college football, but I think that the things that Ryan is trying to do and his program is trying to do will make it fair and equitable for the players without being too much over the edge.
Mike Lamb, the NCAA has a lot of restrictions on college athletes. Should those be relaxed? Now, we lost Mike again for a second. Mike's doing research down on the sideline. And they're going to throw it. Ely throws this football, and it was intercepted. Florida says they have it. Charles Sharon from Palatka going to Bowling Green. Laying on his back with that football on his chest. Intercepted.
Wow, what a great interception by Sharon. You see the celebration. Now they go with a handoff and then a pass trying to go to Demetrius Williams, and Sharon playing the free safety spot in the middle of the field, able to come over and make that play, Jim. Now, when you're going to run a handoff and a pass, you have to have your running game working effectively. Well, California has not done that as of late, so they didn't get anybody from the Florida defense to bite on the play fake. Thus, Sharon in perfect position to make that interception. Florida in great field position.
Yeah, that was a big opportunity for California because they had just come up with the stop. Rankin missed the field goal. California was down by 3. They had the football, and they give it right back. And now Florida, if Florida puts the ball in the end zone, California's in a deep hole. There's only 7.5 minutes to play. Dusty Almond still at quarterback. He looked good on that last drive. Almond scoots to his left, dropped the football, picked it up. Just a little bounce pass to himself. Managed to keep going forward. Now that'll get your heart going, huh?
Yeah, well,
because he's running with his face down, and he knows that somebody's coming that's angry.
Well, it is a hot day, and I'm sure that there's a lot of perspiration on the hands of Almond. So when he comes to the outside, the ball just slips out of his hands, but he's able to regroup, pick it up, and pick up positive yardage. Pick up about 6 yards. So Almond, very fortunate to get that one back. They can ill afford a turnover at this point.
Spencer Havner, the linebacker from Nevada Union out in Grass Valley, he was the guy coming. And a step earlier, and he could have taken his head off.
You know, Jim, and the offensive game plan for Florida doesn't change regardless of the quarterback. Now, you know McPherson, a great athlete, able to run, but even with Allman in there, they're still half rolling, still getting him into the open field to make plays.
Two receivers to the left to keep Gilliam in to block. Allman down the middle. Ware was there. Ware came over to close. And also good coverage by Randy Landingham.
Yeah, Landingham in great position now. He's getting ready to go to Nebraska in the fall, so Landingham able to stay right on the heels of the receiver and close at the right point. See, Allman's going to throw down the middle. Now that ball has to have some higher trajectory, let the receiver run under it. And suppose he throws a line drive in there, and allows Landingham to come under the receiver and make that play. He's going to throw that ball deep down the middle, Jim. You got to put some air on it and let the receiver go get it.
Landingham was great coverage, JJ, and he actually had a better shot at it than Ware did. Dusty Allman now for Florida is 3 of 10 for 52 yards. Let's go 50 yards. Here comes backside pressure. They wanted it to come. There's Larry Jones. Oh, spins out of a tackle by Jabril Ramo. He left Ramo clueless.
Boy, if you can't appreciate what's happening on the field today, you just don't know football. That was a phenomenal move. And he did leave Ramo, a great tackler, and has made numerous plays today, just diving at the ground. Half rolled the backside screen again, the one that was so effective on the last drive.
See ya.
Look at the spin move.
Oh, that's a great move. Larry Jones, deceptive. Not only his moves, but his speed as well from Leon High in Tallahassee. Didn't get the first down, so Florida will have to kick it away.
Back deep for California.
And back deep for California is Dominic Robinson.
Number 21.
And I'll tell you, he looks like Dion. He's wearing the number. JJ's got the shirt out. And this punt goes straight up in the air, and there are flags. This ball lands at the California 40-yard line. I don't know if anybody's offsides.
At the 38-yard line.
It's 4th down and 9, so an offsides in California wouldn't give a first down. It's procedure against Florida, so they're going to have to kick it again, but California probably decline to take it at the 40, yeah?
Right, Nick, because this is going to net out to about a 6-yard punt. So, you know, we talked about it before, one kicker on the team, and for Florida, Rankin is mainly a field goal kicker, not used to punting a lot. So he hits one off the side of his foot, and he'll give California a break and give them the ball in decent field position.
And coming up on Tuesday, July 10th, don't forget, now it's football today here at Santa Barbara. David Corral for California. They need a score across the middle and behind his receiver, trying to go to Matt Clark, sliding at midfield, and a penalty flag back at the 29-yard line of California.
And this is going to be back in the area where Corral threw the ball, so we might have a dead ball, roughing the passer penalty against Florida, so the major penalties continue to haunt this Florida All-Star team.
Well, and the penalties at Florida are getting personal fouls and the late hits here. They're major penalties, and they're more mental than they are physical.
Well, remember, Jim, it's high school kids, and they're trying to come out and make a big impression and make big hits, and, of course, the rivalry and all that stuff. So you're going to have some of that, but at this point of the game for Florida, it is imperative that they do not commit these type of penalties. I know the coaching staff for Florida trying to calm their team down. They have the lead. They just need to protect it.
Now it moves it out across midfield to the 46-yard line of Florida.
David Corral under center for California.
So that's a big penalty.
At the 46 of Florida.
4 receivers. And Tyler Ebell.
Tyler Ebell on the.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Ebell went about 1.5 yards and he made 3 moves.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, you want to get the running game started, but somebody has to block. That time the entire Florida front 7 came through. No place for Ebell to go. Great pursuit by that Florida front 7. Jim talking to the Florida coach before the game, they were concerned because they only have 7 linemen on this trip. They wish they would have had some more linemen because they were worried about fatigue getting into the 4th quarter with the heat, etc. But this team has not slowed down one bit. This front 7 and the defensive line playing extremely well.
California showing some patience right now. 2nd down and 10. Just over 5 minutes to play, and Florida leads 17-14. David Corral, good pocket protection. Corral in the flat. Toledo was out there, and I'm sure he might have been throwing it to a number of different guys. Let's go to Mike Lamb on the sideline.
Well, you look at the Well, now that I'm thinking about it, since it's Pick on Lineman Day, I'm going to give one of the linemen some love. And Robert Bergman, number 70 out of Bakersfield High School, headed for the University of Miami. It's got some unreal numbers. Last year he had no sacks, no hurries on the quarterback, 57 pancakes, and on the baseball team he was a pitcher. He has a 91-mile-per-hour fastball, and on top of that, 3.4 GPA. Now that's offensive lineman for me.
That's one I can appreciate, Mike.
Flat Jeff Smith. Ryan Smith, excuse me. Did he catch it?
No, it's
going to say incomplete.
Picked up by number 11 there.
The ball low, they'll bring up a 4th down.
Now both defenses are doing their jobs. Corral a little frustrated as he heads to the California sideline. Good opportunity for California. They had a first down at the 46-yard line, unable to move it at all.
Yeah, they have corralled Corral, so to speak, Jim, and they have really limited the things he has been able to do. Remember, they're running a standard 3-deep cover, so there are openings, but
they're going to fake it. JJ Jabril Ramo going to throw this ball across the middle. Intercepted. So Florida, good read and react. We're not fooled by it. And California comes up empty. They're 0 for 7 on 3rd down and now 0 for 1 on 4th down. Actually, they scored a touchdown on 4th down, so let's get 1 for 2.
Well, they're going to go direct snap to the up man, and then he's going to try to, Ramo's going to try to throw the pass. Now you see he's rolling to his right. He has to throw back across his body. Never a good idea, even for a quarterback to do, much less a talented, strong safety. So the interception turns the ball over and gives Florida the ball in decent field position.
Charles Sharon, his 2nd interception of the game, and Ramo, great athlete, rolled to his right. I don't even know who he's trying to throw to. There are a couple of linemen down the middle. And off, it's Jones. Jones, a big gain out to midfield. That's Marcus Jones. Who play college football at Rutgers.
Yeah, there's a ton of Jones on the field. 24 touchdowns for Jones during his regular season.
St. Augustine High School, 16 yards on that carry.
He exploded around the corner. Now, you got to talk about Jones, how effective he was in high school. Jimmy averaged 9 yards a carry. 9 yards a carry. How do you go the season and average 9 yards a carry? It's almost a first down every time he touches the ball.
First down now for Florida, right at the stripe at midfield. Trying to take some time off the clock, 4:34. California won this football game last year, the first time they got together, 22-11. And since then, even though these guys, admittedly, on either sides didn't play in that game because it's all seniors, but the Florida guys seemed very concerned with that. We were at camp, we were talking with the coaches. I said, do you mention it? Is it a rivalry yet? It's only the 2nd year. And he said, you know, these guys know that a team from Florida came out and got beat last year, got beat pretty badly. He said, I don't have to talk about it. It's all they're talking about.
Yeah, well, it's definitely pride, Jim. And, you know, at the high school level, at any level, anytime you're in comparison with another group, in this case, high school in California versus high school in Florida, there's a lot of pride at stake. You're representing a lot of people from your hometown. So the Florida team really came out with a lot of focus this week. They practiced that way, and right now they're playing that way.
Moses and Pollock are the wideouts. That would be Moses' side. Instead they went to Gamble, who was dragging across the middle. Chris Gamble.
Number 84, Chris Gamble.
Gamble play at Ohio State.
Now, Jim, things really open up for the Florida offense. If you're the California defense, you have a ton of problems. First of all, you have McPherson back at the quarterback position. He poses a triple threat. Then you also have to worry about them running the clock out and running the ball, so now you're cheating up the line of scrimmage. And as soon as you do that, an accurate passer like McPherson, who threw for 63% during his high school senior year, will pick you apart all the time, especially if you're overplaying the run.
And I remember the thing the coaches told us about McPherson. We were talking about his arm strength and his speed. They said, hey, his decision making is what sets him apart. This is a smart young man, and he has to be right now for Florida to protect this lead. Downfield and intercepted. Dominic Robinson went up and got it. Dominic Robinson back to the 25-yard line. So we talk about not making a mistake, and he makes one.
That's right. As soon as he might have jinxed him, but it goes to prime time. You see prime time able to come up with that big, always in the right position. You see the tap.
Tyler Ebell in the backfield behind Matt Leinart. Quick throw out the flat. Ely Ely's had probably the best day of any of the California receivers, but he goes nowhere on that one. Right back to the line of scrimmage at 25, clock running, 3:08, 3:07.
Chance to see Dominic Robinson. I guess if you're A.D. McPherson, the one good thing you will take out of this game, as well as he's played, he's thrown 2 interceptions to Dominic Robinson. The good news, they'll both be at Florida State next year, so he will not have to worry about Dominic Robinson anymore.
Just in practice.
Just in practice.
2:51 remaining in the football game.
Ely, 56 yards, 5 catches and a touchdown. Leinert, he glanced at Ely right before the snap. Now he ignores him. He goes to the other side, trying to go to Demetrius Williams from De La Salle. Good coverage. DeJuan Brown, Belglade High School, Glade Central High School in Belglade.
Williams, the intended receiver.
Yeah, that was great coverage and great play. That was one situation where he could have put something extra on.
Ebell's still in the backfield. They're not going to sneak him out. Penalty flag. This one may come back. Leinert on the run. Leinert still on his feet. He's going to lose some yards. It's going to be 4th down, or Florida is going to push California back. This has got to be against one of the interior linemen. Florida coaches are all saying decline. It's a hold against California. They should decline it. Yeah, they're saying we don't want it. We don't need it. Because they sacked him anyway for a couple of yard loss. So it'll be 4th down, about 12. And so let's get ahead of ourselves here, JJ, as they sort this one out. 2:25, and now effectively it's 4th down for California. Do you go now, or do you kick it away and maybe get it back defensively?
Well, I think if you're California, this is a 4th and long situation. If you don't pick up 13 yards in this play, you will not get another chance. So I think the wise thing to do is kick it here. It looks like they'll make that decision. Kick it here. You have 3 timeouts. Use those 3 timeouts. Try to get the ball back.
Yeah, you can pick up a lot of field right here, and if you make a mistake and you don't pick up the 1st down, well then Florida's sitting on your 20-yard line.
Right, Jim. The key is a good punt and coverage, and it'll not be easy because Florida will put back Sean Taylor, who in his senior year had 3 interceptions returned for touchdowns, 3 punts returned for touchdowns, and 1 kickoff returned for touchdowns. 22 rushing TDs, so he is definitely a threat.
Sean Taylor averages about 40 yards of return, but he slips after 2 yards and goes down all by himself. He wanted more, but Florida doesn't need that. All they need to do is hold on to the football and run that clock as they try to even the series at 1-1.
Shout out to all their cities to make sure that they are recognized and on the map. You guys are making a statement today.
Been a good time. Gilliam going into that had 6 rushes for 28 yards on the day. It gives us a chance, JJ, to thank the coaches, the staffs from both Florida and California. So accommodating. We went to practices, we spent time. Anything we asked, we wanted to sit down with some of these young men, talk with these coaches. John Mack was totally accommodating. Who do you need? What do you want? Here's what I'm going to try to do. I'd like to know what he's going to try to do right now, and so with the Florida coaches. What would you do if you're California, JJ? You need the football back.
Well, California, you obviously have to come with some big stops, so you're going to have your defensive front 7 cheat up to the line of scrimmage, take some chances. But we'll see right here, Florida goes for the throat. This is the play that you'd go for. It's 2nd and long. This is the play, a play action fake, a pass into the flat could just end this game for Florida. They need 1 first down, and that should seal it.
Would you throw it deep? Would you have McPherson do that pump fake and throw to Thorpe?
Well, I think if I'm McPherson, the thing is you have to use him. You go with the play action and half roll him, then that way he has the choices. Now, he makes great decisions, so you'll be able to get him in the open field. He'll have the option whether to run or pass. But I would not throw the ball deep. I'd go maybe flood the zone, a double out to the side, maybe out the corner route. But in any case, I'd get McPherson to the outside, use his athletic ability to pick up something positive, most importantly, keep the clock running.
And that's a great point, JJ, because he can roll on, he can make the call on the fly. If they're covered deep, he just tucks it away and he picks up what he can and it stays in bounds. If they cheat up on him, he flips the ball over like we've seen him do already today to Thorpe for a big gainer. So you leave it in his hands. Smart young man with a bright future in front of him at Florida State. A.D. McPherson. California was there as Bernard Fano got through first, slow him up.
Well, Florida content to try to get California to burn their timeouts, not take any chances.
Last year we mentioned these 2 teams met at the Rose Bowl. Y'all know about it, even the guys from Florida and California. Short touchdown. 6-yard line. Sells the pass against Bernard Thomas. He said, wasn't that a great play? I said it was. Here's Ricks now at Florida State, trying to earn some playing time. And Florida's going to throw. McPherson throws out of bounds.
And Jim, you know, that's questionable because if you're willing to throw it on third down, you might have chose to go on second down when everything was going to be wide open for you. You knew that California had to commit to the line of scrimmage. Now the ball's incomplete. That basically saves California the timeout. So they'll have a minute 32 and one timeout and one chance to pull this game out.
Fourth down into all the way for Florida.
John Mack's still intense. He wants the football back. He's going to get it back. Dominic Robinson is back deep.
Back deep, Robinson. Dominic Robinson back deep for California.
That ball high and deep. Good punt. Robinson at the 21, trying to make something happen for California. Robinson through a seam. Robinson to the 43-yard line.
Boy, is he exciting. Every time he touches the ball, you just feel like something's going to happen. Of course, he's made his presence felt on defense.
We'll try to get down
Florida State picking up a very talented athlete.
He reminds me a little of Dion, doesn't he?
Watch the flash and the high knees through the hole. You see he only has the one chin strap unbuckled.
Block.
The shirt untucked.
This level since you put your bomb on.
I think I look better than him.
Iron towel, the wristbands, the clean jersey. David Corral back at quarterback. Tyler Ebell. Now look at this. You need some yards and you don't have much time, so you run with Mighty Mouse. And he picks up 11 yards across midfield into Florida territory at the 45-yard line.
And now we have another penalty flag, Jim. This is amazing. With a minute left to go in the game on the line, we're going to have another unsportsmanlike penalty.
Now there's Matt Clark, and I think he was involved in this. And really, for either side, you got to ask players, what are you thinking? The game is on the line at this point, and stop it. You know, strap on the helmet, go to work. We'll talk about it in a couple of minutes. Let's see what happened at the end of this play. Tyler Ebell on the handoff.
Well, first of all, this is a great play call by Mark Feely. Of course, you know that it's a passing situation, so they go to Ebell. He gets tackled. Out of bounds, he picks up the first down. Now let's
Matt Clark, number 5, yeah.
Activity. Little pushing and shoving.
And Ebell saying, well, what happened?
But it wouldn't stop there. We're going to see what the penalty is.
Personal foul against California. Personal foul against Florida. So they'll offset and they'll leave it right there. And Matt Clark is the guy who started the whole thing, and Ebell still doesn't know what happened. I got my 11 yards, right? Yeah, I like Tyler Ebell. I want him to have a good future at UCLA. He's just a nice kid, and I think he's proven his point today that he can play at the next level. '64 touchdowns in high school. He got another one today. Almost 4,500 yards rushing in one season. Remember during the high school football season last year here in Southern California, we would say, how many did Ebell get? And the numbers were 300 and 400 every night.
That's right.
David Corral at quarterback for California.
They're still trying to place this ball exactly where it should be. The California offense is lined up at the 47-yard line. David Corral stays in there.
It's going to bring a first down, 1:14 left.
Where's Ely at this point? He's the guy who's been able to get open. That ball was deflected. They did try to go to Ely out in the flat.
Pass knocked down.
So it stops the clock
Deep for California.
with 1:04. All California needs is a field goal.
Matt Clark.
Now, Jim, David Corral is listed at 6'2", but if I'm California, I would like to see him move out of the pocket a little bit. The pocket is collapsing on him right now, and they need to come up with something of a half roll to maybe get him out and get some passing lanes to avoid those passes getting knocked down.
Corral is 5 for 12, but 0 for his last 4 in the second half. He hasn't picked up a completion yet in the second half. It's second down and 10. From the 45-yard line. There's Corral, pumps. Corral still has it. Corral trying to get out, trying to find some help, throws, and has Ely. And Ely has a first down to the 32.
Boy, Jim, what a throw, what a play by Corral. Kept his poise in the pocket, able to lead defenders, step up and make a strong throw to his favorite target, Charles Ely. That was just a great individual effort.
The high school teammates from Cali High, Pacific Palisades in West Los Angeles. Corral, bad snap, he picks it up, spins, and he was hit as he threw, and he still gets his man, Dominic Robinson, inside the 25 to the 24. Corral's all fired up, he's bouncing around the huddle.
Jim, he's pulling magic tricks out now. A bad snap, which is the worst thing for a quarterback in the shotgun because it takes your eyes off the pass coverage. He had to reach down, get that snap, then collect his wits and still make a throw to a strike to Dominic Robinson. So Corral, as soon as you say he was open 4, he hits 2 big ones.
Yeah, as a quarterback in the shotgun, you want that ball to hit you in the mouth. You want it coming right there so you can keep your eyes right over the top of it and see those backers and those defenders. 51 seconds. And that's Brian New, the field goal kicker for California from Mater Dei. And of course, he beat Loyola during the regular season, the Catholic rivalry here in Southern California, Mater Dei and Loyola. He beat Loyola with a field goal. We hope he's thinking about that one. They still have 51 seconds to pick up some extra yards. It's 2nd down and 2. Do you go to Ebell and get the first? Not yet. Pump fake, pressure. Oh, great play by Corral to get away. See if he can throw it now. He fumbles it. Ebell gets on it, loose football, and Ebell might have got it back, and J.J. Corral got out of that. I thought he was just going to throw it away.
Which would have been the wise decision for Corral because he could have avoided the negative loss that they're going to take here.
You avoid the loss, you keep the time on the clock, you get the football back, and Tyler Ebell battling underneath that pile to get to the loose football. He may have saved the last chance for California.
I'll tell you what, the defensive pressure, though, from this front four of Florida is just immense. Corral, as soon as he gets back in the pocket, made it set up, the pocket is collapsing around him, and he has to make some decision. It's going to be a legal shift. See Corral pulling magic tricks out, able to elude that tackle. Don't ask me how right there, Jim, where you thought he was going to throw it away.
Get rid of it at that point. And he didn't know the pressure was coming.
Unfortunately, Tyler Ebell was right there to recover that, or else that game would have been over at that point.
Game was over if he doesn't get that football back. So the penalty against California moves him back, and now California's going to call timeout. With 33 seconds. 3rd down and 7. Ely on the left, and Clark is in the slot on the left. They need 7, they want 6 points. Into the corner of the end zone, ball is intercepted by Florida. They didn't bite, and Florida may have just wrapped this game up, JJ. California thought that Florida would bite up close. Corral laid it out, and he got burned.
Yeah, Jim, and I just don't think this is a good decision by the California coaches, obviously, but mainly because it's a 3-deep coverage. They're in 3-deep zone. You know that the guys are going to be off. You're not going to get him to bite on this, and he throws it right into the defender. A nice concentration, a nice catch for the interception. But at this point, 3rd and 7, you can go for the 1st down. They're going to be in 3-deep coverage. They're going to leave the flats open for you. There's a lot of options for the California team. I don't think he goes deep in that situation.
Juwan Brown with the interception to win it, essentially for Florida right now. 4 turnovers for California. And Corral wishes he had that one back. The play was set up to go to Dominic Robinson, and Brown just gave him enough room and just backpedaled.
Well, they tried to go with the slant and go, but at that point, at this point in the game, the Florida team knows that a touchdown beats them. A field goal was not going to beat them, so they were willing to give up the underneath stuff, try to come up and make the tackle. That time goes right into coverage for the interception. Florida goes home with their first Cali-Florida Bowl victory.
And even the series at 1-1. California won at 22-11 last year at the Rose Bowl. And Juwan Brown, the Florida teammates, got what they came for, a victory. Now all they do is take a snap, run the clock out, take it home.
Jim, and I was talking to some of the players before the game for Florida, and they said even though it's only been a week that this team has been together, they have really meshed and gelled as a team. Of course, there's a lot of great athletes, so you'll never get this many athletes on one team, but just the camaraderie between this Florida team and the desire to win, I think that set them over the edge today.
Tyler Ebell was a little bit disappointed, but he played himself a very good football game, and now he can start thinking about walking around the Westwood campus of UCLA, playing for Bob Toledo and the Bruins in the fall. They take the knee, and wind the clock. California not calling any timeout here, and that should be enough. Yep, John Mack walks out on the field, he surrenders, Chip Sauls, and Florida, they win it. Florida with 382 total yards, California with 301. I think we got exactly what we wanted. A lot of great talent.
It's just a phenomenal day. We saw a ton of great players. Dominic Robinson, of course, for California. A.D. McPherson.
And earning some respect. They said they were going to get it. They said they would take it if they had to. And they will take it home 17-14 as they beat California in the Cali-Florida Bowl 2 to even the series at 1-1.
Jim, the commitment, the focus of this Florida team over the week, the way they came together and the way they played today, led by A.D. McPherson, what a tremendous effort.
A.D. McPherson, 13 of 20, 248 yards and a couple of touchdowns. He threw one to Crow Thorpe, he threw the other one to Jaworski Pollock, and now he will go on and play at Florida State University. And someday you'll say, I saw him play in high school, and I saw it on Fox Sports. Florida beats California 17-14. For John Jackson and Mike Lamb, I'm Jim Watson, saying so long from Harder Stadium on the campus of UC Santa Barbara. Don't forget, for all the latest scores and highlights from the world of sports, don't miss the National Sports Report tonight at 10:30 right here on Fox Sports Net. Thanks again for watching, and have a good game